no warp core in the original Star Trek.
I have seen that. I have not actually watched the video, but I saw the clickbait title going
it's
on.
hypocrisy. I don't like it. Okay. I do have an idea for an intro song, but it's not an official intro song. Let's get the streams going. I'll let the people know that we're going. Brent, you know what you had to do is you had to discover a way to make your own protein shake, Something that you could just put in a bottle and sip on all day long, and it would top you off as you go down the road. Have you ever experimented with something like that?
You mean like this?
That's what made me wonder. Yeah, okay. I thought I saw something like that.
Yes, currently experimenting.
So
why don't we just splurge and get him the IV drip he so clearly wants?
I mean, that's really what I'm after. Because then I could just tuck it under my clothing.
We could all use that.
You get the stats at Home Assistant.
Ooh, Wes, I like the way you're thinking.
Built-in glucose monitor.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm definitely down. So what is in there? I'm guessing it's a tea? Is it an oat milk?
No, this is more like a... Yeah, there's like, I guess this one today has some oat milk and lots of like fruit. So I have fresh local blueberries in there.
Nice. Blueberries?
Yeah.
Nobody's growing blueberries.
When in blueberry land.
Nobody's growing blueberries right now.
No, they're harvested in the summer. They freeze really, really well.
Yeah, that's true.
There's like, I think, raspberries in there and some pineapple and... yeah, some like protein shaky stuff.
You got any like chia seeds or anything in there?
Not today.
Oh,
I left out the chias, but I do like the chia.
You could put some quinoa in there.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Ooh, skeptical.
What about like an avocado?
You can put that in almost.
Because if you had an avocado in there, then you'd be getting some good fats. Because what I didn't hear you say is
that's true.
You're not getting much fats, and that's really where you're going to drive some energy from. Long
That's
term.
A good point. No, I did put peanut butter. That's good.
Oh, okay, okay. Did I miss that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did. Okay,
but
that's where the girth is coming from.
For Wes the other day, I sprinkled some like coffee beans in there too.
Oh, fun!
That was real delicious.
Did that work? Did you get the caffeine from that?
Yeah, and it's delicious.
Interesting.
I mean, it's like a slow drip of caffeine instead of a hit, but
yeah,
but it works.
All right. Chat room is going. If you are on the commercial streams and want to join us, it's our Matrix room over at jupiterbroadcasting.com/matrix. That's where you can bang suggest. We all have a kitty. That's a pretty good Cosmo. Sometimes, you just get, with cats, you just get kind of generic cat, but that's it. Oh my gosh, Wes. It's so good. I like that.
Yeah, right?
See, now, if AI could just produce this with our audio, we don't need cameras.
No, especially if you can get that, animated properly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't need cameras with that.
I look like a villain in a SNES game, but I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I like it. I have I'll turn off the frame so people can see that. There we go.
It improved Kent the most, I think, out of all of us.
Yeah, it really got Kent.
He's looking fine.
Yeah.
He got that Colombian tan just right.
All right. Should we start the show? Do we have the energy?
Whoa, show start.
I know. I don't know if we have the energy, I'll be honest with you, because...
I got to catch up on... I haven't even looked at this. What do we even got in the show?
Oh, I know. Hey, so before we start... have we figured out when we're recording the Home Lab holiday? I know we got really close last week, but did we actually nail it down? Because I think we should announce it this episode so people could actually show up if they want.
I think we chose a time frame, but didn't actually choose a date.
I think we decided we decided the release day.
Yes.
But we didn't figure out...
We did not decide if we were doing a dubs on the 14th or finding another time to record it.
That's the wrinkle.
Yeah.
That's the wrinkle. Okay, so... I don't know if we're going to figure that out right now.
I mean, we could
just commit to dubs it.
Well, the only problem with dubbing it up is that I think it's going to be a huge job.
That's probably true.
That's true.
Because, we got to go through all those submissions. So... we probably don't have bandwidth to prep a regular show and then also...
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we only have a week.
Yes.
Good point.
What about,
Friday probably makes the most sense. I'm not sure if I'm here, though.
Classic Tuesdays.
That's true. I have the launch that day. It doesn't give us a lot of time. So this is tricky. Time is running out.
Yeah. There's that Thursday. It's like the day before you leave, maybe?
That could work. The only issue there is I don't have much time Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
So it's essentially like doing it Monday in terms of my prep time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Monday if you could.
So that's the benefit of...
Yeah, either one's fine.
I wonder if the wife is up yet. I'll ask her if it's the 19th or the 20th that we're leaving. I'm now getting spam about expired T-Mobile points. What?
Oh, you can't let those go. Man, you're just going to waste them?
What is a T-Mobile point? What day is it we're leaving for our trip? I'm trying to figure out when we can do our double recording.
You got to call them T-Mo points.
T-Mo points, huh?
Yeah.
And what, you redeem them for what? Pink shirts and leather jackets, or?
Probably, maybe. Mariners tickets, ideally?
Okay. All right. Did you know that Roblox or Robux are like tradable on certain crypto exchanges?
That does not. I did not explicitly know that,
is
but
it
it does
actual
not
cryptocurrency?
actually surprise me.
Oh my God.
Or do they just have a mechanism to do like swaps?
Maybe to USD or something. I don't know what is going on in that thing. The other thing that's wild is like there's entire IP ripoffs in there of like established movies and video games that people make like clone games.
That also checks out.
It's a Wild West in there.
Whole own parallel world.
I watched my daughter play some last night because I'm fascinated by it. And first of all, the pace at which you acquire something and trade something is sometimes 45 seconds. Like, and the calculation and the thought that goes into the acquiring, to then just immediately turn around and trade it because that's what you do, right? And then like within that window of time, you're going to hit two scammers, and like it's not obvious because they all have these different tactics. Like this one guy, he was like, "Oh, come check out my Twitch stream. I'm legit," and he had he had another alt account that was like a legit alt account that he'd built up. Wow, I mean, in a way, she's learning a lot of like sussing out who's an online scammer and what's a valuable trade based on its scarcity. So it's a fascinating.
Are you going to start playing?
I mean, I no, but I do think when you combine it with things like Cashy and Polymarket and real world assets as tokens, and then you have all these kids that are learning.
It's going to be wild.
I mean, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. It's going to be the United States of gambling is what it's going to be.
Except now you can have your AI agent gamble for you.
Yeah, buddy. Or your kids can do it when they're 10 years old on their... Well, I guess the upshot of that...
On their internet robot platform?
The upshot of that is I got Roblox working on Linux again. That's the... Man,
nice.
Yeah, maybe I should try to tell that story the best I can. Maybe that's a good way to start while we're waiting for the wife. And then maybe we can...
Did you...
I did fix... Yeah, maybe we'll start there. Yeah.
Did you pick a song?
Well, I just have like a kind of like a generic-y thing that's fine. Yeah,
When I hear you say that, I just assume it's about me then.
It's funny how one or two criticisms, even though after doing this for 18 years and I've trained myself, like it still gets in the brain and it kills my motivation to like do the music stuff. It's like, because a couple of people complained about it being AI and it's like, oh, it's fine. You're always going to get complainers. But then over time, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Who hurt you? I'll go talk to them.
It's in the inbox. You can go read the inbox. It's just funny how that, and it's even like at first, it's like, oh, it's no big deal. And later, I think over time, it sits in your brain and you just, and there's no way to do this job and not read feedback. So, but what sucks is you don't end up creating what you would truly create if you weren't being influenced by negative, which is maybe sometimes good, but
it's less pure.
Well, the other thing is us humans are not very well calibrated because we got so much positive feedback to all of those as well. Like people freaking love them.
Yeah.
You get one piece or two pieces of negative and we seem to forget all the good stuff.
Yes, and it's the very kind of thing that's very polarized at the moment. So, yeah, and sometimes I do sort of, and this might be what it is, I just kind of tend to, I don't really want to get in big fights over stuff that people are I don't like to participate in mobs. And it just feels like another internet mob, another hate mob. And so it just turns me off. And I tend to just withdraw. I think is my natural reaction. I was actually listening to this I wanted to almost share with you guys last night, but it just didn't quite cross the threshold. But it's fascinating study about people who were early to social media. Like for the average people, like a lot of them have stopped posting, but they're still reading. Like there's been this huge drop off of like, because they've been burned a few times in sharing. And plus it becomes about like, are you really seeking validation? Like if you take a picture of this and share it with the world, is it for you anymore?
Right.
And like, I think as you use social media, you start to like think about those issues, and you sometimes fall on the side of, I don't really need any public validation, and this really doesn't need to be shared with anybody. This is for me, you know, or whoever. And I think
or maybe you've now, like, it's easier too, right? Like than maybe when Twitter was new, you have other easy outlets of semi-private, or small group.
Sort of like Nostr is now, where it's like, I do tend to post like something from the farm on Nostr. It's just like a random, like, hey, look, we're digging this hole. We're going to put some poop right here. That kind of thing. Okay. All right. I'm going to start the members. So let's get membery. Get in that mumble room if you care. We'll be in there in just a few. And also be sure to get in that chat room so you can give us a proper title, okay? That's what we ask. That's what we ask. All right, boys. Here we go. I have no idea what song this is. I'm just picking one at random. And a three. And a two. Members, welcome into episode 644 of your Unplugged program.
Hello, members.
Hello, Wes Payne.
Good. Hello.
Hey.
Hello, Brentley.
Hi.
Hi. Well, gentlemen.
Ooh, that sounds like a fully unstuck Canadian to me.
Yeah. Look who's out and about. Free once again. The moose is on the loose. How'd it go?
Oh, you mean getting the van unstuck after it spending like 6 days in the middle of a snowy, icy hill that was completely unplanned?
6 days? I guess, home is where you park it, so why not, right? Right?
What a great view, gotta say.
You did, actually. Yeah, you did have a great view.
Yeah. So last week I got the van stuck in the snowy Canadian winter. I kind of forgot that it's only two-wheel drive, and I told myself I would never buy a two-wheel drive vehicle again, and here we are.
She's got a heavy bottom, too. I mean, sometimes that works in your favor. The problem is that once momentum sets in...
Well, the real killer is it's done great in the snow. Like, I've driven it in a blizzard so far, and like around in just really terrible conditions. And so this is the first time like I couldn't do what I wanted to with it. So it really broke my
false confidence. Sucker jam.
Yeah, exactly.
But is the positive side that on the experience of now getting out, have you gained a new confidence or new skills? I mean, there must be. I mean, that's sad. I don't want.
100%.
Okay, good. All
From what I saw, he certainly gained a lot of new equipment.
It was hilarious because it was in such a spot that like I couldn't drive forward. So the van basically slid down a hill and twisted 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And like 2, maybe even 1 foot in front of the front wheels was a little cliff you don't want to go down, like 2 feet deep. And so had the van gone down there, it would have been a very different rescue operation.
Oof, yeah.
So the idea of getting it out was like, okay, I could drive, but I can't drive forward. Right. And so in preparation, we gathered a lot of rigging equipment. There's a couple trees around. We were like, okay, we basically had like 6 plans. Okay, first we'll try this, then we'll try this. And then if that doesn't work, then we'll start, rigging up equipment to a tree to pull the front end to straighten it out, all this stuff. Right. And so I kind of spent days just thinking, okay, how do we do this safely? And also what equipment do we need in case? And what do we want to, do about the weather? Because the day after I got stuck, it got extremely cold.
Yeah.
And so working out in that weather for a couple hours is extremely uncomfortable. And also, the whole reason I couldn't get up this hill was it was icy.
Right, of course.
So we ended up going to get a bunch of salt and finding traction sand, which is a very specific type of, crusher dust that is sharp and gives you a bunch of traction. It's not just your playground sand or anything like that. So we got so many different supplies. Okay, well, also got chains for my father's pickup truck in case he has to pull me out or whatever.
Sure. I mean, it's good to have.
So many different options.
And those are good to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the mentality is always, if you don't bring it, then you'll need it. So better have too much equipment that you could just, return to. So the hilarious part is we ended up spending as much in Canadian dollars as I paid for the van in just in case rigging equipment.
Brent, and that's hilariously.
Oh man. Knowing we could
painful
of course,
in a way,
bring back what we didn't need.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
and heavy. I had to carry that crap around.
It also it underscores something I said when we really started going through the van. And if you remember, I said I think you almost got $600 worth of tools in this van.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Well, and the other thing about someone using the van for a bit is they start to solve some of these problems, right? So the van did come with tire chains, or at least cable chains, I guess they're called. And when you and I first discovered that in this little cubby on the side of the side doors, I was like, okay, this is going to be an important tool at some point. I do not know when. The unfortunate part was I got stuck on this hill because it was kind of slippery and icy. And before going up it, I was like, I think I'm going to take a minute to put those chains on because when I came down this little hill, it was not good. And
you had a spidey sense.
I had a spidey sense, and my father was like, nah, just go up the hill and you'll be fine. Just give it a little bit. And I was like, all right, fine. And sure enough, that didn't work. I got 90% of the way up.
Just to
which
the
was
crest,
heartbreaking.
Just to the crest,
yeah.
Right?
And it just needed another 5 feet, but no.
Man.
And so then I was parked, I had the brakes on, 90% up the hill, facing up the hill. So all I could see was the sky, but I was like, okay, now what? So unfortunately trying to just back down easily down the hill was, just slippery. So the van kind of twisted doing that. And it was a little scary because of that little cliff that I didn't want to go down. And so the right decision was to leave it there for a couple of days and get the right equipment to do it safely and all of that. But it turns out we were able to slip those tire chains on. Remember the ones I didn't put on, but I had a spidey sense about that I definitely should have put on?
Yes.
Well, put those on after shoveling for 2 days to make sure there wasn't too much snow, and also putting some salt down the day before and looking at the weather to make sure it was actually quite nice out in comparison, near freezing temperatures. So a bunch of the snow melted in the sun, and the gravel, it's kind of a gravel road that
got some traction,
nice and loose. And so it was all these, in the end yesterday when we were doing this, all these factors coming together to give the best case scenario. So it turns out we were able to drive it out with the chains on very, very carefully. So I had my brother and father. It's kind of a whole family affair.
Yeah.
And just backed it up very carefully because I was also near an object that I didn't want to hit.
Right. I
had to back it up quite so we did an Austin Powers kind of maneuver for a while. And eventually at one point they were just like, okay, you got the space, just go. And sure enough, the chains did great and made up the hill. No problem. And so I did learn some things. Those chains were a great idea. Very good thing to have in the van. Should use more often. But also in doing some of the research and buying some of this rigging equipment, just thought, okay, I should maybe have a thing or two in the van in case I got stuck in a snowbank or something and someone needs to pull me out. So definitely learned some things. It was sad to not have the van for 6 days, but I'm back.
Well, I think you did the right thing. Sometimes waiting it out and when you're not in a rush is the right move, it sounds like. So I think you did the right thing. Also, I would add to that, now you've got those chains, right? And you can, when you are driving with those suckers on that van, you're really kind of taking advantage of the weight of the van by...
Totally.
So
Yeah, I agree completely.
Digging into whatever happens to be beneath you.
Yeah, exactly.
I will modify the chains a bit because we are very lucky. We were able to slip them over the tires and I struggled for a good long while, but just get them tied to each other around the.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
Because the easy way to do it is you put the chains on the ground, you drive on them,
right.
and then you tie them.
That's how I've always been told.
In this particular case, that was easy mode. That was the easy way to do it. In this case, I had to slip them on while stuck in hopes of getting out using them, right? So I was able to get them on, but it was a super struggle. So I might modify them a little bit just to make that process a little easier because they're basically one-piece chains, cables, and then there's this tying mechanism. And that tying mechanism, I don't know, they just didn't put enough slack to be able to, for my particular situation of doing it all wrong, I guess. And so I think I'll just modify that a little bit to make it easier on myself next time.
Didn't go the tire socks route, huh? Didn't go the tire socks.
Okay, you have to explain this to me because in the process of sharing my ridiculous adventures with you, you sent a photo of tire socks, and I have no idea what that is.
I only learned about them this year, but I guess they're a real thing, especially for lower profile cars. If the chains break or something, I guess they just destroy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the idea would be, I guess these are a lot softer if they break, but they still give you some traction.
But what are they made of?
A cloth material.
In terms of physics, it makes zero sense to me.
I think it's a cloth material of some kind.
Cloth?
You wouldn't want to. I don't think you'd want to drive them on cement very long, but
no.
I guess they're significantly easier to put on, and of course they stack and stow really easily too. So for something like the Pacific Northwest, it might actually be a reasonable approach.
Is it like some kind of space material that's
I don't know.
Sticky frog fingers or something?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
That's the stuff they build the tiles of the heat shields, you know. It's
right.
Well, let me tell you about my Saturday. This was, oh man, guys. So to set the scene, my Starlink's dead. So I'm on LTE, and it's been almost bad as dial-up. It has been so painful because it just isn't great at multi-streams. And so I was working on my daughter Bella's laptop, and she was on an automatic update regime, which worked great until I think the channel of Nix was no longer updated. I think this was 2405. So it's from May of 2024. It's a pretty old install, and I think they stopped updating it at some point. And so she comes to me and she says, hey, Dad, this isn't working and that isn't working anymore. And I go, oh, yeah, geez, I just need to get this working for you. So I did the right thing, I think. I don't actually remember what I did. I'm just trying to piece together how this went so sideways. Maybe I'll tell you what.
That might be part of the problem. No, I'm just.
So, Dad gets a laptop on a Friday night at 9 p.m. Dad, can you fix this? And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And
you kind of just go through the paces, right?
I'm guessing what I did, although I don't know, but I'm guessing what I did. I think I uploaded her configuration.nix to Claude. And I think I said, probably something to the effect of update this for 2505 or 2511, whatever the current is. Mm-hmm. And spit me out one that, because a lot of little syntax changes occur in the channel, especially when you're a couple behind.
Right.
They now automatically load the AMD GPU drivers before I had to declaratively call it, and it's just small things like that needed changed. 44 lines, I think, is what the total amount that needed changed was, and I was like, "Machine, you just do this for me." And Claude happily complied. And of course, I did the right thing, and I backed up her configuration first. I didn't just YOLO it like I normally do. And I download her configuration file, and I save it, and then I continue to work on her machine over the next day, get all her flat packs updated, swap out a few launchers that no longer work for her various games. And I'm like, oh, I should probably get this thing. I'm gonna get these packages updated. So I go and do the rebuild, and everything built just fine. There's no syntax errors. And it's like, good job, Claude. And I reboot, and it doesn't load a graphical environment. It just goes to the console, and none of my accounts work.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, that's strange. And there's a prior generation that's still a newer kernel. So I guess I built at some point. And so I go to that one. And I hadn't rebooted, I guess. And then I built again, not realizing. So then I go back one. And this time I get a Plasma desktop environment, but there's no Bella account. There's not even anything on the home, there's nothing in her home directory. Her home directory is gone. And my user account password. My user account is the only one on this because this original build, this is the HP Dev 1. And when I was testing it, it was my account and everything on there. And then
you built like a Bella version, right?
A lot of times I give these to the family members, and then it's kind of like a long-term review unit that I'm not actively using, but I'm kind of checking in on. And the Dev 1's still doing great. But I guess I just sort of lost track, doing this in bits and pieces. And so I wasn't really clear. Why do I have a user account on here? Why is her account gone? And why is my password not working? And I'm like, this is very strange. And so I'd reboot down to a console, same stuff. Nothing. None of my logins work. And I think, well, it's definitely something wrong with the configuration. So now I got to boot into like a live environment and mount it, right? So okay, I go get the Nix ISO, which just takes forever to download. All these, every time I'm building and updating, it just takes forever.
It's LTE every time.
So I wait an hour to get the ISO image, and I throw it on an Evento, and it works fine. I boot in, and do an LSBK, and I'm like, okay, that big one there is probably her main root. And so I think for a second, and I think, okay, well, this is an inflection point, Chris. You could sit here and fix this because you probably screwed this up with an LLM. So you should do the right thing and just open up the configuration file and just manually fix it. Just mount it. Just mount that partition into mount like rescue or something. And go into the configuration file and just fix it by hand. And I thought about it and I thought, God, but then I got to, create a folder, and then I got to like run a mount command, and then I got to go in there and edit the file. So what else thought I'd do?
You know how to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, who wants to spend the time, right? So instead, Crush is a Go app. So super easy to get running on any environment, really. So I get Go installed, and I just use Go to install Crush.
Oh, Crush has its own flag.
Well, this is just the Nix live environment, right? I'm just booted off an ISO image, right? So like when you want to flakify a live Nix environment, then
you can just
Crush.
pass an extra command line flag to the Nix. You just have to tell it that you want
experiment. Yeah, right. I have to enable it. Yeah, exactly. I didn't,
no, I'm just asking you. Go on.
Well, I do it. That's how I do it sometimes. This is the first time I've actually ever done it this way. But it worked great. Because like all of I ended up on this route because I wanted a super simple route that didn't end up like an FHS kind of environment, And a lot of the guides online are like, use Steam Run or use App Image Run and download. And I'm like, this is stupid. Why would you do that? So I have Crush go through the file. And, actually what I told Crush is I said, all right, you're booted into a live environment. We have a Nix install that I believe is on this device. Didn't give it any paths. I just gave it the device name. And this is what I think happened. And I want you to mount it and take a look and come back with a report and tell me what you think happened. And so it goes in. I hadn't, right at this point, I could go way back in a generation and I could use her really old environment. So I still had kind of like this emergency, but that was the unfixed stuff where stuff wasn't working. But other than that, I had no way to really look at what the active configuration file was because I couldn't log into the system until I mounted it in this rescue environment. So I hadn't really even looked yet. I just had Crush go look at it. And it comes back and it says, well, yeah, here's what happened. I can tell what happened because you backed up the files before you made the changes. So I did a little comparison, and the editor changed your Chris F user to Chris and has no password, and it wiped out the Bella account completely. It's like, and it did this and that. I'm like, and I'm like, but it's like, but if you want, I'll write this little script. I'll merge these things back together. I'll have all this mounted, and then I'll unmount it, and the system will be rescued. And you want me to just do that? I'm like, yes, I do. And then I just watch you go boop, 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 boop. And then, you can see it add the lines back and remove the wrong lines. Boop, boop, save. I'm like, sweet. All right, let's reboot. And then I reboot right in, and it worked. And I got back in, and all of her settings were still there. And now I was able to, new updates and get all her launchers working.
So it's all back.
It was all back.
That's great.
It was the weirdest thing was like the two generations where one is where I had Plasma with just my user. And then the latest generation, I had no graphical environment at all.
Yeah, there must have been did you do some testing when you were doing the first round of
I must
work
have.
with Claude?
See if it was
and then
building
later and came back?
Yeah. But the other thing that was odd is that it changed my username to Chris, and of course I'm always logging as Chris F. It's just I have my whole life, so it's just what I use. But what a weird little change to make. And
yeah, what cursed chat did you have with Claude?
I know. Well, this is where I've learned is I have better results when I'm using an editor on the local box and it's reading the files than I do just like uploading a file and say, hey, take a look at this. Because like with Crush and Cursor and probably others, you can then have it subsequently execute the build, see where it failed, and then go fix it, right? Like what this solves is there are no Nix error messages you have to worry about. Like, you know how people bitch about, well, first of all, if you just read the error message, usually the last couple lines of the error message tell you what the actual problem is. But that aside, you know how people complain about Nix error messages being hard? No, you just let the machine handle it, right? So if it can, and you can tell it, don't do a switch, do a rebuild boot, you can be specific.
Yep, totally.
Or you can tell it just do a test build, don't actually apply it, right? And that is completely harmless to your system, other than generating, some extra files, completely harmless to your system, and it can sit there and troubleshoot every syntax error or typo I made or whatever, and then fix that line, try to build again, fix that line, try to build again. And what I've learned with the latest Claude, wow. Like, what it's really good at handling now
Which
is...
one? They have multiple.
I guess 4.5 Sonnet, I think.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
It is really clever about realizing, I'm on a system that's going kind of slow and these downloads are taking a while. So it backgrounded that task and went and executed other crap and then would set a increasingly long sleep timer to check back in on it. And then said, also, by the way, if you want to check in on it, just tail this file. So I could watch the output in another terminal live while it was doing other stuff, and then it would increasingly larger time wait window would then check in on the build and the downloads and say, yep, everything's proceeding to plan. Just wow. I've never seen it do that before.
Yeah, that's nice. That's great. I like Sonnet, the new one.
Yeah, it really seems like it knows Nix. Like it.
Oh yeah, the Nix support is getting great these days.
Wow.
Interesting. I kind of like to separate sometimes. Sometimes I like having it, but I get annoyed because it's kind of slow still.
Sonnet?
For it. Well, no, just when you have it exploring find the right.
Yes.
Often, I like using those when I'm exploring a new code base I don't know, but once I know, I've kind of built some tooling so that I can prepare the context really quick for it. So, because that part I get annoyed at. I was like, I know what I want you to work on here.
Mm-hmm.
But so then I kind of end up separating this is the generation part, and then the you are my agent, go make changes, do the fix rounds of the
and you'll save tokens that way too.
Yeah, true.
That
is also part of it sometimes.
So there's that too, and then all you really need to do is just give it the output,
right? But what I like about all this is you can do it any of these ways, right? Like you can kind of pick where you want to draw the exactly.
And for this one, it was great just because when I'm doing this, there's usually 5 things going on in the house, it does not have.
You didn't have 3 hours of dedicated focus time. To just...
Right. Which is how I started. And then they all got home and I was like, all right, we're
chaos.
Yeah. we're going to do the crush route. That was really one of the deciding factors. But it was just this jarring moment when it's like, oh, well, I really screwed this one up. What did I do? And then not even sure. I think that must have been what I did. Not even 100% sure. I don't think I changed my username and wiped yours out. But
probably should have rebuilt and rebooted right then, just to. At least then you would have been like, oh, that one. That's
for sure. Yeah. The reason I probably didn't is I was in fact, I almost know for positive. I that first night, when I was testing it, I believe I was just doing a build, and I don't think I was doing an update. And then the last thing I did was overnight, it downloaded packages all effing night.
Oh,
all night long.
That's rough.
And that's why I walked away from it and just let it. And then I think it just sort of.
Yep.
Boy, this being on LTE with 3 kids.
That's rough.
Is. So I have my Spusion feed speed. I have that VPN, that combo VPN where I'm combining them. So it helps.
But only so much.
Yeah, you get 4 or 5 megabits. That's the max you get. And then if that's split amongst multiple devices, It's horrible.
Well, I have some breaking good news for you.
Oh yeah,
just because like you've been through some stuff. I do like that the you got the full arc of the LLM got you into it, and then the LLM got you out of it.
What's your?
As of 5 hours ago, the 0.2.0 of Jelly Swarm is out.
Oh, new Jelly Swarm, huh?
The Server Federation and User Management Update.
So we could federate.
Yeah, 2 major new features, along with many backend improvements. You can now provide admin credentials for connected servers.
What?
Any server with admin credentials becomes federated. This means users created in Jelly Swarm are automatically created on all federated servers.
Whoa. Cool.
User deletions are also synced. All necessary user mappings are generated automatically. And there's also a new user page. Users can now view their connected servers, choose which servers they want to connect to, provide their own credentials, which are securely encrypted with their personal password.
Stop it.
A new media section is also included showing which libraries users have access to on each server. This lays the foundation for future features such as selective library access and full library merging.
Boy, do we just pick a winner or what?
Wow. Important warning, though, upgrading to V020 will trigger a database migration.
Okay.
After the migration is run once, you cannot downgrade.
I swear that's always my luck. But
take a backup.
Understand, they do give you a big warning on the project page that it is in early development, and that is how these kinds of things go.
But that's great. I mean, we'll have to play with that.
WebSocket support, audio streaming, automatic bitrate adjustment coming soon. Dude, this could be really cool for us just personally having, a collection, a shared collection like this could be really great.
Well, it
Plex
feels like with some of those,
and this gets better.
Yeah, with some of those features, like now we have more features than Plex. So
yeah.
Bye-bye, Plex.
Ha! Well, while we're doing some news, we have, even though 6.18 just came out, we have some 6.19 news.
Well, with a new kernel comes a new merge window.
Yep. And it looks like a new console font to better handle modern laptops with high DPI displays is coming to Linux 6.19s. Its FBdev updates are mostly routine fixes and cleanups, but one big enhancement stands out. The new Terminus 10x18 console font, aimed at improving readability on today's high DPI laptops. Linus merged the pull request quickly, explaining that the existing fonts didn't scale well on modern 13 to 16-inch displays using common scaled resolutions. Yeah, well, we've all noticed that, I'm sure.
Yep. You just I hope I don't have to do any crazy debugging in this super limited environment where the text is tiny on my 2K or 4K screen.
Yep. Provides 44 by 50 rows. Very, very nice. And merged quickly. Looks like it's gotten the Linus thumbs up. So.
About darn time.
I guess so, huh? And then also in a kind of a similar genre, 44 Fedora 44 has been cleared. I am sleepy. Has been cleared. I have not gotten much.
How many Fedoras was that?
There's 44 of them.
On the wall?
Tell you what, it's gonna be. I should go get a Red Bull. But anyways, Fedora 44, the 44th edition of Fedora, has cleared to replace the kernel console with user space KMSCon.
KMSCon.
Officially approved for replacing the kernel's long-standing frame buffer that we just mentioned with a user space terminal called KMSCon, starting with Fedora 44, a major step towards deprecating the old FBdev support in the kernel. What do you think, Wes?
I'm excited. This is great. Fedora kind of, doing what Fedora does best of trying out the new stuff, figuring out what might work or not work with it. This part I didn't even fully realize is the existing thing, FBCon.
Mm-hmm.
Was not well maintained, so much so that it actually lost scrolling support.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
If you wondered why you can't scroll.
So that's not great. No. So if this gets us scrolling, I'm for it. But really, it's simple. It's based on the not new in any reasonable timeline, but in the last few decades.
When it comes to Linux consoles.
Yeah, kernel mode settings stuff. It runs in user space instead of being baked into the kernel, so that comes with a lot of benefits as well. And, Fedora's doing some nice work here so that it won't really mess anything up, and it'll just fall back to FBCon for a while anyway. So even if it does mess up, it shouldn't be kind of catastrophic, which is great to see.
Wes, I know we saw this link go by this week, and I know we were tracking it, but I can't remember which release of the kernel, if it was the 18 that just came out or if it's something that's landing in 19, but live patching at the kernel level, did you see that is coming?
So it's live
memory patching, like live memory updates, like kexec. Like what do we?
Yeah, so there's live patching,
which is like the canonical or Red Hat or SUSE thing, which is like,
and there is like various bits that are in the regular kernel, and then a bunch of particular tooling around it. I guess,
which is a little more like the Red Hat one, and that is. You can patch a live kernel, so you don't necessarily have to reboot for a security vulnerability.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're talking about?
I know this is like a kernel update, which is like a system for doing a kexec into a new an updated, like a fully updated kernel, I guess. But maybe even more flexible. I don't know.
Whoa, cool.
But using more of the new handoff functionality that they've been developing to preserve stuff. So in theory,
so you could have
eventually,
state.
Yeah. So you could like reboot and your VMs that you were running. You'd be in a new kernel, but the VMs wouldn't have to go anywhere. It's all very new. I'm trying to find.
You're talking about switching the motor out on a vehicle while it's going down the road is what they're basically doing.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Holy crap!
There's also Microsoft's been doing some work around NVDIMM devices, RAM DACs, and this is the kind of the stuff I use right now. Pre-kexec handover to preserve a region of memory that I can keep a file system on between kexecs. So
sure.
It's interesting to kind of see all of this stuff happening at once. Yeah, here we go. It will be in 6.19, it looks like.
6.19?
Yeah.
You found
live update. Rework kexec handoff for in-kernel users. That's part of there's a bunch of stuff, though. Let's see. Live update.
It's exciting. I mean, it's a pretty advanced feature.
Live Update Orchestrator, a major new feature targeted at cloud environments. This series introduces the Live Update Orchestrator, a kernel subsystem designed to facilitate the kernel updates using a kexec-based reboot. This capability is critical for cloud environments, allowing hypervisors to be updated with minimal downtime for running virtual machines. LUO achieves this by preserving the state of selected resources, such as memory, devices, and their dependencies, across the kernel transition. As a key feature, the series includes support for preserving memfd file descriptors, blah, blah, blah. So they're doing a bunch of stuff. The full story is not there yet, but stuff's getting plumbed.
More kernel inception to come. Well, as your buddy Jerry Maguire likes to say, show me the money. Framework has announced a new round of sponsorships where they're bringing their total for the year to above 225,000. The new sponsorships go to Arch Linux, CachyOS, Debian, Bazzite, NixOS, FreeBSD, and NetBSD. Their new updated sponsorship report outlines the latest 2025 donations, noting that the total contributions for the year have surpassed $225,000. The company says it supports projects that create an open source software that makes our products work, end quote. And in the new batch, touches heavily on major Linux and BSD operating systems. And of course, they gave some love to Arch, saying that it was one of the top 3 choices among framework users, praising its broad community and deep knowledge. They also gave a special nod to CachyOS because they like the performance they're seeing there. Consistently comes up in their top performance benchmarks, including recent Phoronix tests. And I think the Cachy folks are getting a little hardware, and they've commented on social media that they'll be looking forward to optimizing CachyOS on the Framework 16. I think it's also notable that they highlighted Debian. They noted that they were the first distro ever that was used by some of the Framework staff, and it's one of the most popular choices for Framework laptops. And of course, it's the granddaddy to Ubuntu and Linux Mint. Bazzite, describing as one of the fastest growing distros and a strong pick for gaming Framework desktop systems. They said it's, quote, some of the clearest proof that the year of Linux desktop is here, end quote.
Coming in hot.
Mm-hmm. But what about this one? NixOS.
Hey. I run that.
They say it is widely used across the Framework products, and it's one of the first distros, quote, we test on new hardware. One of the first distros they test on new hardware. That's great news for you, Brent, since you're running it on Framework right now.
Yeah.
A well-supported setup.
They say part of the reason for that is that a bunch of their engineers are using it in-house. So, I mean, that's pretty good proof that you should be running it too, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
But for me in the wild, I've seen more frameworks with NixOS on it than any of the others mentioned, I would say.
Okay.
Although I do hang around with those kind of folks, so maybe that's, It
kind of stood out to me that they're also throwing some money to NetBSD.
Yeah.
Even though it, I guess, maybe doesn't even super work on the framework at the moment, but they like, their mission, the extreme portability, NetBSD running on all kinds of stuff, super low resource things, keeping older computers from turning into e-waste, which is sort of a shared mission. So yeah, that's nice.
That is nice to see. Nice to see FreeBSD get some support too.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of work there on their laptop support and usability project, which is great because, why not? FreeBSD is a great operating system, and better laptop support, I think, would go a long way.
Notable that Bazite shows up on their radar, but they mention Mint, but they're not kicking to Mint. Just interesting to me. It would sort of seem to maybe imply that there's that the framework user base is more inclined to install Bazite. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, if you look at the Arch, NixOS, Bazite, these are fairly advanced distributions, which sort of implies that their customer base is skewing pretty technical, right?
Yeah, I think technical and maybe plugged into a certain modern Linux era, right? Like if you follow, Linux social media or Linux YouTube or various places, you're going to hear about certainly Bazite and some, Arch and Cache, and
yes.
you're probably also going to hear about Framework on these same. So I think they're all kind of part of this. Like if you're interested in new stuff in Linux, then of course you're interested in a super gaming forward, immutable, great.
Mm-hmm. Let's say good morning to the folks that are in the mobile room already.
Yeah, how rude of us.
Hello there, Mini Mech and Otterbrain.
Hello. It's more like evening here.
Okay. Yeah, time approves.
Yeah. Lunchtime for over here.
I'm curious for those of you that are joining us in the mumble room.
Afternoon.
Hello there. Are you interested in a framework for your next laptop or desktop purchase? Are you considering a framework, and do these contributions to these projects impact the needle for you at all?
I could imagine that if I had the possibility to have a Swiss keyboard, because we have a different one, and often you can't have them.
Yeah, sure.
There is the German producer. I don't remember the name.
Entra?
No, it's not. It's with T something.
Tuxedo? No.
Tuxedo.
Oh, it is Tuxedo? Okay.
They do in fact laser the keyboard, so you can really take the keyboard you want.
That's nice.
So that would help me. But
I'm surprised with the framework's modularity that the community doesn't kind of step up and fill those gaps.
Why not? Yeah. But although I have to say I didn't really look at the home. After that, it's shipping costs and everything.
Yeah.
So often here in Switzerland, if I want my keyboard, it's easier to go to the retailers. If you want an official brand like HP or something.
They need some scale.
Makes sense.
Otterbrain, what about you? Would it be on your...
Yeah, right now I'm obsessed with Bluefin, and so I've got Bluefin right now on my PC, but I'm interested in the 12-inch tablet.
Yeah,
for drawing and, for, illustrating ideas for class and things like that.
So tell me what you're liking about Bluefin.
I don't know. It's just, well, first of all, I like the dinosaurs. I thought that was cute, but it's pretty stable and it's easy. And I like the idea that I just have to, just not worry about the updates. It just turn it off, come on, another day, and it comes back on, and it's just rock solid. I can use the distro box for weird software that, weird academic software that's not packaged in Flatpak.
The old escape hatch. Yeah, I mean, I'm still running Aurora here on my my studio machine, and I don't know if I'll be. I mean, maybe not for too much longer, but it's been good. It's been pretty solid, and I do really like the auto update. Like I just every now and then I reboot. I don't really have to think about it. I think that's a nice feature.
Yeah, it's been nice. I mean, I dabble with the Nix on some other laptops, but I don't know. Yeah, it's for the stuff I do. Just having the Flatpaks and occasionally whipping up a distro box, and then the way it can sort of copy over or sort of export the application from a distro box over to the main menu. It feels like the app is like part of your host system.
Yeah. What about you, Didrail? Are you in the market? When you are in the market for a new computer, would you consider a framework?
I would definitely consider it. I use only a laptop. I don't have a desktop at home or anything. But I do gaming as well, so it definitely needs to have the power.
So you'd be looking at maybe the 16?
The 16 is a nice size.
and you can get that modular GPU
It's going to be probably a couple years.
Yeah.
I currently have an i9 14th gen with a 5090 in it, so I got a few years until I can afford.
Boy, I wish I did, because right now it's going to be a minute with the RAM prices and the GPU
Just
prices.
Everything. Yeah,
it's going to be a minute.
Well, you just missed the Cyber Week.
That's true. That's true. There are rumors that the new Steam machine, they're going to have to offer a bare bones version because of these RAM prices. So we'll see about that. Well, gentlemen, I don't know if you hear that, but a phone is ringing. No, not the bell. It's the new Yalla phone, available for pre-order as an independent Linux phone. They're making another go at a crowd-funded smartphone, returning to its roots after years of focusing on licensing Sailfish OS. Of course, you guys might remember they kind of came out of the whole MeeGo, Nokia background, and they've been around forever.
They really have. This feels like a long forgotten memory or a half awake dream or something.
So they've launched a pre-order for this new crowd-funded Linux smartphone. They need to get to 2,000 pre-orders by January 4th. They're already at over 2,148 when I checked. I'm sure it's beyond that now.
Which I guess means
it's happening.
They're gonna go.
So here's the specs. It's got a MediaTek 5G SoC with 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, which you can go up to 2 terabytes. It has a 6.36-inch Full HD AMOLED display. It has a user-replaceable 5,500 milliamp battery, dual SIM 4G, 5G. It has Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.4, NFC, a 50-megapixel camera, and a 13-megapixel front camera. And extras like RGB notification LEDs, a fingerprint reader on the power button, and a hardware privacy switch.
Oh.
Described as letting users disable the microphone, the Bluetooth, and Android apps, or whatever you wish. It can run Sailfish OS with Android app support and promises 5 years of support. They emphasize no tracking, no calling home, no hidden analytics. They're going to produce in Europe with radio band configurations aimed at enabling global roaming, including roaming in the U.S. on carrier networks. They will have additional markets in the EU, UK, Switzerland, and Norway, they say.
Chris, did you remember I used Sailfish OS for at least 3 years, I think, on the Nexus 5?
I do recall.
And I had the Yola 1. And for all those that are listening, please try Sailfish OS once. It's a really breeze to use. And I think with the Android integration, I'd never used that because the phones I used were not powerful enough. Mm-hmm. But I think if you have a nifty integration, I mean, if you look what's Android doing now, where you can customize your desktop, so it becomes a little bit different. Sailfish OS is different. So you start from a new point with a lot of swiping, movements and everything.
They were ahead of their time.
I'd be curious to try that support, the Android, the mentioned Android layer.
So
you gonna put you down for one?
Well, the jury's out for me on the MediaTek SoC. Could be good. Some of them are fine.
Is that what's keeping it at 499 euros?
That's definitely doing a heavy lift. Yeah, I would also imagine the display there, but I do like the 12 gigs of RAM, and I do like the user replaceable battery a lot. That does something for me. I miss that so much from my phones. I mean, like, my Pixel 7 would be absolutely perfect. I mean, the battery's pretty much fine. These later updates have actually really improved battery life. I feel like my phone battery life's been better than it ever has. But it still would make me feel better. I have phone range anxiety, and it would make me feel better if I just knew I could
just replace it,
or put a spare one in my backpack or whatever. So I really like that. Also, I wouldn't use it much, but I'm curious what you guys think. But I think I could see myself occasionally using the notification LED for special events. You know, like a wife special alert or a home assistant special alert.
I mean, you could totally program some fun stuff in there.
Remember when phones used to have notification LEDs? Did your phones? Did you have
I
phones?
used to love that.
Yeah.
Right, just a simple little thing.
Over and
on the internet phone, there's some sort of way with accessibility or something. You can have it use the flashlight as like a, not full brightness, but like as like a notification light.
Fascinating.
Didn't even know it until a family member got an email and their phone started flashing. I'm like, what is happening to your phone right now? That's my email alert. I'm like, well, what? How did you do that? Oh, yeah, it's in there. Okay. Those boomers love their email, dude. They'll find a way. They love their email.
I was going to say, how excited are you about these emails? Lives
in his email, dude. Lives in his email, which is the exact opposite of me. On I am not as excited about mobile phones as I once was. I'm pretty happy with Graphene OS, or where iOS fills in the edges, and I don't think I will be ordering one of these.
What about get one for Brent?
I'd love to see Brent try it. Love to see that. What do you think, Brent? You want to give it a go?
I would give it a go for the experience. Yeah, I think I haven't really used a Linux phone in the wild.
Yeah, you would be the most tolerant, right? Because you use like OS.
That is a good way to put it. That is a great way to put it. And I don't have to interface with like other family members that have, I don't know, the crazy app that won't run on it or whatever for their Christmas shopping list, or I don't know what they do. So tolerant is, I think, a great word. So I would give it a go for at least a month.
Do we know how the Sailfish OS Android emulator handles play integrity API checks?
I didn't know it had said thing till a few minutes ago.
No, yeah.
So I have no idea.
Wouldn't it be ironic if you could run certain Android apps under Sailfish emulation that you couldn't run on Graphene OS just because of freaking play integrity tech, which really is not much of a problem in practice, but has come up occasionally. It'd just be ironic if you could run those same apps on Sailfish OS just fine. You know what I mean?
I guess I got to swap.
Let me see if the wife... So we're trying to figure out when we're recording... Oh, I don't know if she's gotten back to me. I was trying to figure out when we're trying to record...
You need a Wi-Fi LED there.
I hope she is having a relaxing morning.
Yeah, I guess so, because I haven't heard...
Because it is the kind of...
Because we're trying to figure out when we're recording the holiday... Home Lab? Are we really...
The home... Yeah.
It's interesting how people from time to time ask, "What's your streaming setup?" You don't want to know my streaming setup. It's,
Yeah, don't do what we do.
Don't do what we do. We're no example. You know what? I have a question for the audience, and this is the perfect opportunity to call the launch. So here's your question. I want you to call in the launch and tell me about it. Okay? What do you do in your day-to-day life or in your general life that is a "don't do as I do" kind of thing, where you do it this way, but you would not advise somebody do it this way? Could be anything in the world, from technology to cooking to cars to pooping. I don't care. Call the launch and tell me what it is in your day-to-day life that you would do, but don't advise be done that way.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick call to the launch. I haven't checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right. 774-462-5667. Call now.
And for us, I guess that's podcasting.
Definitely the live streaming part of it.
I would say my entire lifestyle. Don't do that.
We did have somebody write into the launch and ask for an update on the Moose. So, like, you guys talked all about Brent's van and then stopped talking about it. They probably don't listen to the bootleg of the launch or of Love.
Which is all Moose all the time.
I could be invited as a special guest.
That's what I'm saying. Moose Radio. Come on and do little Moose news.
Return of the brunch series, but
yeah,
this is the first guest.
Yeah. Okay, so we're about to get started, and we have a great guest today on the show. The creator of Bcachefs, Kent Overstreet, is going to join us, and we're going to talk about everything that's been on our minds, all of it. And Kent's an open book from a glamping tent in South America, and I'm going to mention it in the show, but I just want to take a moment to really underscore how wild this is, that Kent has created more than just Bcachefs, but what he's really known for right now is Bcachefs. And it is truly a fantastic piece of software and one of the most modern file systems in the world right now. And he's doing it for the world. He's creating GPL software and contributing it back up. And he lives a very within his means kind of life to do it. The first time we talked to Kent in 2024, he was living and camping out of a Subaru at like a national park. And then this time he's upgraded and now he has a truck and he's in South America with a tent. And he is creating one of the most significant pieces of software for Linux and computing and file systems from a camp in a tent in South America on a Starlink connection and living by the means of his patrons, right? So he's moved somewhere where he can presumably live within his cost of means. Did I get that right? Means of, what is it? Close
enough.
I'm really loopy. I got to get that Red Bull. And I just think it's remarkable. Like, he's not going to find a wife this way. You know, like he's not going to raise children this way. He is dedicating himself to creating Bcachefs, and he is so involved. He's both just an incredible producer of code. He's an absolute machine when it comes to producing code, but he's constantly interfacing with users that are actively using it in production, and he's outreaching to outlets like us to engage in the conversation and answer questions, while also, like that morning, releasing a new release that is a massive rework of the project in some ways, which we'll get into.
Do you want to guess when he last updated Bcachefs tools, the repo?
Today?
3 hours ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday. I mean, he's just such a machine. And I think in all of the hubbub and drama around the mailing list and people, you know, venting their opinions, we have lost sight of the human aspect of what he is doing. And I hope some of it comes through in the chat with him today. And we're really lucky to have him. And I hope that comes across in the chat too. We are very, very lucky as Linux users to have him. And we could use a lot more developers, especially developers willing to contribute to the kernel like him. So I hope you enjoy it. We do have some housekeeping, but we don't have a date. This is why I'm a little hesitant. I don't think we're going to get it, though. I would really like to give people a date so they know when to show up.
Do you want to like
could leave
up
a
your
spot
sense of urgency by doing a phone call? You remember those things?
I could attempt a phone call. Why don't we could take an intermish. I'll call her, get my Red Bull. And if we get an answer, then we can announce it to the peeps when the actual.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So we'll just take a quick breather.
Safety check.
I'll call the wife, see if I can get her on the phone using an actual phone call. And then when we come back, we'll start the show.
This is Wife Watch.
Thanks.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
I joined a little late, and you were talking about the using AI for your Nix code.
Oh, yeah,
What tool are you using?
It kind of depends on the job, you know. I find Crush really easy to get going, but I actually, if you're willing to subscribe, Cursor is just really impresses the hell out of me. But Crush is really great too, and you don't have to pay a monthly subscription. And then what I do is I connect. This is Wes's advice, but it works great. Is I connect Crush to OpenRouter, so I'm not paying for like Claude Pro or OpenAI Pro. I just have credits on OpenRouter, and then on OpenRouter through OpenRouter I can just pick the model I want, and like a lot of the current ones are in there, and Crush supports that natively. So it's really easy once you have an OpenRouter account and stuff. Does that make sense?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was going to say I've been using OpenCode as the tool.
Oh, sure,
recently.
yeah.
You can run some basic commands for free without having a subscription to anything.
Okay.
It
That's
runs
nice.
on, I think, Gemini, if I remember right. But that's actually been doing relatively well for me, at least.
Excellent.
I
should try that one again. I've used it a little bit.
It's crazy. Like when you go on GitHub, some of the most active projects right now are these types of tools. It's just what a lot of people are,
Yeah.
a lot of people are banging these things out. All right, we're gonna run. We'll take a quick break so I can call the wife and get some caffeine, and then we'll start the show. So,
all right,
be right back.
Be right back.
Be right back, and we'll leave you with a classic song.
Thought they were chill, two gentle guys, would never hurt, no, not a fly. But in the shadows, neon lights ignite. They step up ready for a laser fight. Wes moves quiet like a ghost unseen. Brent's a sniper, laser sharp and clean. They're unplugged killers, laser tag thrillers. Lights go down and they're stone cold chillers. Wes and Brent never miss their mark. Kings of the game, masters of the dark. Laughing, joking, the podcast vibes. But on the battlefield, there's no compromise. They strategize, synchronize attack. Blink once, you're out, no coming back. West so stealthy, swift and sly. Brent lines up, precision eye. flash, red, blue, green. Battle smoke clears, reigning supreme. Laugh it off, say it's just for fun, but you better run when they reload that gun. Unplugged killers, laser tag, thrillers, lights go down, stone cold chillers. Wes and Brent never miss their mark, kings of the game, masters of the dark. Oh, unplugged killers, ruling the night. Wes and Brent, unmatched in the fight. Thought they were gentle, would I disguise, but they're laser tag killers behind friendly eyes.
That eagle gets into everything. He just sneaks his way into everything.
I think it's part of the contract to
Yeah.
record in the building.
You gotta put up with the eagle.
Pay the eagle.
Feed the eagle. He likes burgers. Feed the eagle. Okay. So I got the word. Back from the wife, and we could record Friday the 19th if that works for you boys. So then we could officially announce the Home Lab holiday on the 19th. Oh boy, this is gonna. It's a good thing we have an interview because whoa, I am fried. It's if I would tell you how little sleep I got, but I just don't think anybody would believe it because I don't believe it. I don't believe that I'm sitting here talking to you right now with the amount of sleep I've had collectively over the last 5 days. I can't believe it's physically possible. I don't know how I do it. I mean, a lot of Red Bull. I do know that.
Looks great.
Thanks, really? That's great.
So, maybe you keep it up, I guess.
It's really something.
Not so good for the brain. But
No, I can definitely. I was thinking this morning, too, before we started. I'm like, I'm feeling real kind of slow. Oh, God.
Slow but vibrant.
Okay. This week, I'm going to really focus on the sleep again. It's not like I haven't been. My wife was sick, and then kids, and then it's just,
life.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Brantley, are you ready to record? Okay. All right, gentlemen. Then let's record in 3, 2, 1. Record.
Record.
Hello, Drew. Boop, 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 doo.
Hey, Drew.
Pew, pew, pew.
I miss Drew.
Who doesn't?
Oh, I know. It would be really nice to hang out. Especially wouldn't it be great if we could hang out all together after a show?
Yeah.
That'd be so nice.
We'd all be exhausted. It'd be so
but
sweet.
it'd be such a chill vibe, and we'd be eating while we're also working, and it's like
We
that.
gotta do like
Watching
a
Star Trek.
Yeah, put some Star Trek on.
Denver live show.
I know.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got to get back out to Denver. Although I think maybe we'll wait till the spring. I mean, we don't.
Fair.
We don't got to rush. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Chuck E. Cheese guy whiffed it.
That also happened. Okay, here we go. It's Linux Unplugged episode 644. I'll do a quick file save just so we have that. And let's kick it off, boys.
Disk-based check? Disk-based check.
Disk-based.
Can't have a good file save without a disk-based check.
We've got 134 hours free.
All right. I think we can work with that.
Initiating launch. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
And my name is Brent.
Well, hello, gentlemen. Coming up on the show today, it's a big one. Kent Overstreet, the creator of Bcachefs, joins us to give us a full update on what's going on, what's new, what's next, and a surprising upside of getting kicked out of the kernel. And then we're going to round it all out with some great picks, some boosts, actually like a really loaded pick section, and a lot more. So before we get to all of that, let's give the old time-appropriate greetings to our virtual lug. Hello, Mumble Room.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Wes. And hello, Brent.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Just a couple of you in the on-air and a group of you up there in the quiet listening as well. Mumble Room always cooking. We're always happy to have everybody in there. And a big good morning to our friends over at Defined Networking. Defined.net/unplugged. Go check out Managed Nebula. It's built on top of the open source Nebula project. They handle the tricky bits that you might not want to think about. 100 devices, totally for free, no credit card required. Defined.net/unplugged. This is a mesh VPN optimized for speed, simplicity, and really great security. But ultimately, it kind of goes a little bit beyond. When you're picking your network infrastructure, if you've been in tech for a minute, you know that there's also the company behind the product and what they're all about and what their goals are. And I think the way they're configured, the way they're designed, all of that stuff ultimately ends up getting represented long-term in the product. And that's where I think Defined has been really, really judicious in how they have built and designed themselves to really align with how I would like a company that's building this type of tool. And I think you would also probably align with that if you're a listener to this show. So it goes just beyond the software and the fact this is a truly free project that's totally self-hostable, if you'd like. It's optimized for speed, simplicity. It uses less battery on your devices, less network resources. You can host it completely or you can use their managed solution. But beyond just that, it's about the company architecture. It's about the funding model. It's about all these things that go into a long-term sustainable product that you can build a network on top of. And they have been solid since 2017. They had to be. They had to go in production day one for Slack and their global infrastructure. Now it's incredible what they power. Rivian cars on the road, all the metrics they send back to Rivian HQ, that's secured by Nebula. Think about all those machines on the road communicating over Nebula. They have to keep that secure. That would be such a scandal if anything ever happened for Rivian. It's really impressive. It has an incredible level of resilience, speed, and scalability that you can tune to your needs from a home lab to an enterprise. So go get started. 100 hosts, absolutely free. Support the show. No credit card required. Go to defined.net/unplugged. Well, it is actually very scary close. So we wanted to give everybody a heads up that your time to submit to the Holiday Home Lab is running out. We want your Holiday Home Lab submission. Submit your Home Lab for Linux Unplugged Holiday Special coming up. We're looking for your creative or efficient or chaotic, overbuilt, just beginning setups. We want everything from the community, and we'll feature some of the winners on our show. We'll have probably a batch that make it on the show. We'll have a batch that we'll maybe do in special editions and all kinds of stuff. We have a form over at linuxunplugged.com/holiday. Your time is almost out because we have picked our live record date, which we would invite you to join us. It'll be on Friday, December 19th, 2025, when we record the Holiday Home Lab special. So if you'd like to join us for the live event, especially if you've submitted your home lab, Friday the 19th, we'll have the exact details and time at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar as we get closer. But more importantly, because I sometimes forget that bit, we always put it in the Podcasting 2.0 feed. So if you have a Podcasting 2.0 app, you'll see it in there when we're going to be live. It'll be, I think, our last live episode, maybe not, but one of our last live episodes of the year. I don't know if we have After Christmas quite dialed in yet, but it's getting pretty close. And so you have, you got to get in before the 19th because we need days. So I guess we should have probably told you a deadline, not just when we're going to do it live. So I'm going to say the deadline is the 17th. That gives us at least 2 days to go through all the submissions, right?
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
So December 17th, we're going to cut off after
No
that.
guarantees.
Yeah. So there's your cutoff. And then the live show will be on the 19th. And we'll hopefully have more details on exactly when. We could probably just safely assume our regular time.
Seems like it. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, there you go.
Works for me.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we've had some great submissions.
You can't have a holiday without a home lab.
No, you got to play your Christmas mixes and stuff. Well, last week we played some clips to just get you up to date on the Bcachefs current status and the kernel, and honestly, our real-time reactions, because a lot of that developed while in both times there were major developments while we were traveling.
Yeah.
So we were like processing all of that, and
attempting to travel or attend a conference or not think about file systems.
So if you missed that last week, you might want to go grab that context. So that way you have like sort of the full context for today's conversation when Kent joins us. And as the year rounds out, we thought this is a topic we should talk about because there's been a lot of changes. Bcachefs was kicked out of the Linux kernel. We talked about that last week. But I think it's best to get the information straight from the horse's mouth. And in this case, that's Kent Overstreet. So we're going to get into this in the way that only Linux Unplugged does, with the details and the technical stuff. And the best source, of course, is Kent. He's the creator of Bcachefs, and he's a rare, rare breed of developer. And I think as you listen to our chat with him, this is going to become evident to you. I wanted to mention something that maybe isn't obvious, though. Kent is creating what I consider to be maybe the most modern file system, period, right now. And he's making it GPL and available for Linux. And he's doing it from what he calls a glamping tent attached to the back of a truck in South America via a Starlink connection, living off of the support of his patrons. And he is developing every single day. He committed, this is a Sunday morning, and he committed 3 hours ago.
He sure did.
And then he had released a major version, which we will get into, with major new features a few hours before our chat that day, because we talked to Kent on Thursday.
Yeah.
And he had just released a massive update, and he's just constantly working. He's constantly communicating, and he's doing this while creating this project, while being nomadic and keeping his cost of living as low as possible. So I just think he's an incredibly interesting developer from that standpoint. We're very lucky to have him. And just the insights here are great. So if you're not familiar with Bcachefs, buckle up. And if you are, there's a lot to love in here too. Ken Overstreet, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you, sir.
Great to be here.
And also, congrats.
It's been a bit.
Bcachefs 1.33 came out this morning, I think.
Metadata version Reconcile.
Huge, right?
Timed it perfectly.
I mean, I think we should start right there, and then we'll kind of get into other stuff. But let's talk about the new Reconcile system, because reading through the show notes, it looks like one of those things on the surface seems like a small amount of work, but then when you dig into the details, it was like almost a total refactoring of type.
Not total, but it touched all kinds of stuff, yeah. Like, had to get metadata plugged in, all kinds of just little bits here and there, because whereas before, this grew out of rebalance, which just did background compression and background target. Now we're aiming for strict correctness, so that we can actually check the validity of all stored data against the IO path options. So if you're doing correctness checking, that tends to be a different level. So big project.
And it's actually done now. So it's congratulations. Just reading through that, I was just like, this is a big piece of work, and it's pretty cool that it landed right before you were able to join us. Now, as somebody who's using Bcachefs now, will I need to prepare or make any changes before I update?
The only thing to be aware of is there will be an upgrade process when you mount on the new version. One of the things that should be coming soon, but didn't land for this release, is we should be able to do these upgrades in the background, and we're still doing it at mount time. And we still haven't got this communication with systemd going to let systemd know that we're actually doing stuff at mount, and it just thinks that we've timed out. So that's a little bit of an annoyance, but just let it go until the kernel log says it's finished, or the dmessage, whatever you're watching, and reboot it again if you need to because of the systemd thing, and it'll be fine. We had a lot of that back in like the 6.14 upgrade for back pointers, where I had to redo some minor detail of the back pointers. Actually had to rewrite half of everyone's metadata. The cool
I think I remember.
No one noticed. Yeah. No one noticed anything besides going, "Hey, why are my mounts taking so long?" People would kick it a couple times, and it would just finally finish, and so that was fun. This is not as big an upgrade, but it's
okay. That puts it in perspective. All right, so let's walk it back a little bit. It's been just about a year or more since we talked. I can't quite recall, to be honest, but it feels like it's been 5 years. I mean, time flies.
It's just shy of 693 days.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so
okay. Yeah, it's been a bit.
Oh, wow.
So, things have changed a lot. Let's talk a little bit about user base, who's using it these days, maybe how, just off the top of your head, I know this is kind of a wild one, but how you say things have changed since 2024, just kind of the best recap that you can recall.
I think the biggest change is that things have really stabilized. Even like 6 months ago, even probably 3 months ago, like back in July, I was still in the midst of, the bugs are coming in about as fast as I could handle them, and things that I could see the trend back in like 6.14, but there was a noticeable inflection point, like 6.16, 6.17, and now it's like things are starting to feel calm. Past couple of months were a giant slog with getting Reconcile out the door, but I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at. And we're getting really close to taking the experimental label off. I pegged that for Christmas. And based on the outstanding bugs, there's there's like almost nothing left.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you mentioned sort of, assessing stability and here getting ready to take off that experimental label. What actually are you looking for? Because I know you're helping people one-on-one. You've also got like actual, bugs getting filed upstream. Probably you have like automated tests running.
Lots and lots of automated testing, yeah. There's a whole cluster of machines off in Finland, big 80-core R machines with a 1/4 terabyte RAM each, and I run those machines hard. So I'm constantly watching the test dashboard, which is never as clean as I would like it, but I'm always watching, like, triaging and going, okay, that one can wait. No, that's actually something serious I need to jump on now. And most of it is just user feedback. Are the bug reports coming in? How severe are those bug reports? How quickly are we dealing with them? Are we finding stuff that it's like, oh, that repair path needs a ton of work, or is it like, oh, that's like a trivial 10 or 20 line fix? So it's a lot of things.
I'm thinking back, it was really still pretty experimental at the time. It feels like now we're at a point where if I deploy it, I'm probably not going to see any big format changes or anything that's really going to be disruptive to my workflow. And that's huge, right?
Yeah, one of the things with format changes is I've actually gotten less conservative with doing format changes since we're no longer upstream, we're DKMS.
Interesting, okay.
Because, yeah, we no longer have users running a whole bunch of different versions and maybe rebooting into older kernels. It's very easy now for users to just stay on the latest version. And as long as I'm not pushing out regressions, and we've been doing great on regressions, then there's no reason for users to have to roll back to older versions of Bcachefs, which we can do, but it was an expensive downgrade and then re-upgrade in the kernel. And now it's like if we have to change something and there's a legitimate reason, like Reconcile, we've got another one coming for per device fragmentation LRUs that'll fix some issues with copy GC and tiering. Then it's just not as big a deal, especially once in the next couple of weeks we can do those upgrades in the background. Then it'll be completely smooth.
Yeah, then we really probably won't notice, huh?
Yeah.
So, Ken, when all of this was going down with, the discussion, will they or won't they extract Bcachefs, did this benefit even occur to you during all of that?
No, that one actually did not. The whole DKMS transition went much, much smoother than I expected. I had a lot of concerns and fears at the time how things were going to turn out, and it turned out better than I could have expected.
How so? I mean, besides obviously what we just talked about, but in other ways as well?
Yeah, I didn't seem to lose users like I expected. The people who actually care stuck with it, and we're able to get the DKMS packages done and all the automation, everything we needed. That came together really fast because a lot of people jumped in and helped out. It's shocker in hindsight, not so obvious going in, but it's a lot easier for people to help out with the non-core kernel file system stuff. And there's a lot of people who are interested and want to help out, but they're understandably intimidated by diving into a 100,000 line C code base, but like packaging stuff, yeah, that was a lot easier.
It's this. I hadn't even thought about that, Kent, so I actually appreciate you bringing that up. I guess what I have been stuck on is, I guess it seems like it's a good thing for Bcache in the short term, but it's not a great thing for Linux in the long term, right? I have really expressed on the show, I really think Linux needs a sophisticated, modern file system that's GPL and built in. I think it's imperative.
I don't think the Linux file system world is in great shape, and I feel for those guys, but a lot of this stuff, there's fairly deep-seated problems, and I wasn't able to make any headway, and I can't do anything if no one wants to, if everyone is stuck in their ways and doesn't want to change. And
is it momentum, just history that, and people that have their fiefdoms? Is it just that it's built fighting through that?
Some of it, yeah. There's a lot of reasons. The kernel is a big old project, and basic processes, how we do things, tend to, in any big institution, tend to ossify and become harder to change. And the Linux kernel came of age, really back in the 90s, early 2000s, with everything being done on the mailing list, patch-based workflow. Didn't even use source control for years and years, famously. And the one place where it really lags today is like automated testing, QA. So one of the pain points for me of being in the kernel is I do rely very heavily on automated testing, and if you're in the kernel, you're expected to stay on mainline, rebase onto RC1s every time RC1 comes out. And that's a good thing. You want people to be dogfooding and catching issues like that. But if the file system people are the only people doing really comprehensive stress and torture testing, and there's other subsystems in the kernel that aren't testing their code at all, that's really painful, especially if you're like me, where I'm just one guy with 100,000 lines of code, and if things aren't working right, it'd be like every other release. My test dashboard would blow up, and it'd be a couple weeks where it'd be tracking people down, and I can't get work done if my test dashboard is a whole bunch of red and I can't tell if my own patches are buggy or not. So, and think about that for the kernel as a whole. It boggles my mind trying to get work done in that environment without automated testing and without being able to get good feedback on what code is working or not. They're spending way too much time chasing regressions in other people's code, and it's not fun.
It does make me reflect just on all the pros and cons to the coupling to the kernel. You get, if you are coupled, you get the advantage that's there by default. But if you're uncoupled, there's a lot of pros. Although also, of course, some cons. I was just curious how you thought it was going being out of the kernel. Besides DKMS, like I know there were some symbols that were no longer exported that had to get vendored, like that kind of thing. Do you anticipate being able to keep the current model working without too much fuss?
I'm curious how that's going to go. The core kernel interfaces that file systems depend on in Bcachefs, they've gotten a lot less churny than they used to be. So I don't expect things to be too painful, but the kernel is not very friendly to out-of-tree projects and code, so it's a question mark.
It's fair. That's fair. It doesn't make me feel much better, but it's a fair answer. I'm sure you probably feel very much the same.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you addressing that. And that actually gives me, I think, a better understanding overall of the situation. I mean, as users, I've been really impressed how some of my favorite distributions have just they've really stepped up to make it pretty simple for me to just keep using Bcachefs.
Yeah, the NixOS and Arch people have been awesome to work with. I haven't had to do anything for those distros besides keep in contact and make sure we're on the same page. And like those guys hang out in the Bcachefs IRC channel, and we give each other a shout whenever something comes up, and generally things are just chill and awesome.
Okay, so you made a hint about a lab, and I've heard you kind of made reference to some pretty significant large Bcachefs deployments. Just, I don't know, off the top of your head, what are some of the larger that you're aware of that people have been experimenting with or using in production?
Oh, actually, I'm not sure what references I've made, because I honestly do not know. I hear from people when stuff breaks, and if things are working great, then like there have been quite a few times when the rare regression, user impacting regression comes through, and I find out that there's actually a lot more users than I thought there were. Like the Debian brouhaha, where the maintainer shipped a package and broke the build and then sat on updates, and there was a bug in mount where users couldn't pass the degraded option. And I started getting all these bug reports from users I've never heard of that I just had a drive die and I can't mount my file system. So, Yeah, I have no kind of telemetry or statistics, and I would really love to get telemetry and just see all the data I possibly can when something breaks, but I don't have that yet.
Okay.
Have you run into any interesting systems, though, or heard from folks reporting successful or otherwise deployments?
Oh, there's definitely some big file systems out there. There's been, for quite a while now, file systems north of 100 terabytes. I mentioned the 6.14 backpointers upgrade. That was specifically because people were running into scalability issues, and at 100 terabytes, FS checks were taking more than a day. And now we can scale up. We tested scalability up to like 10 or 12 petabytes, and no one's hitting scalability issues anymore.
Okay, well, I'm nowhere near those numbers, but I've kind of this year started building my home lab, rebuilding my home lab. It's really going to be a project for next year, and I think I want to do Bcachefs. And I just sort of wanted to pick your brain where you think Bcachefs is for home labbers, if that's maybe a good use case, some things I should maybe try or know about. Anything like that, like if I got you on the line, I got to be selfish and I got to ask.
Yeah. Oh, I love working with the home labbers. Those are the guys that hang out in the IRC channel, and that we have the most productive working relationships, because those are the guys that like to tinker and investigate and discover how things break. And that's where we find a lot of the weird corner cases, and that's where the polish comes from, is working with those guys.
Okay, so if I'm going down the route, what should I
go for it?
Yeah, I mean, just any tips, anything I need to worry about? Is it just deploy, any mount options? I want any pro tips you got for me.
One angle might be RAID 5.6. Is that available yet? How should he structure his array, maybe?
If you got any tips.
Yeah. Aside from erasure coding, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Everything should be pretty fire and forget if you've seen the documentation on how you set IO path options. All that stuff can be set per directory, application level, target options. You can set up whatever kind of tiering or caching setup, or pin different directories to different devices. There really shouldn't be much to configure. Actually, the one thing that I should mention is there is an outstanding bug on the bug tracker that looks like it might be a bug in Z standard. The title of the bug is data corruption after writing hundreds of gigabytes, and it's only with C standards. So, yeah,
maybe
not the first C standard bug that we've tripped across.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the hardening projects that's next up on the to-do list will enable us to pinpoint and flick at those guys a test case or something, and just harden us against compression library bugs or compression algorithm bugs, and a couple of other things in the data update path. So, yeah, aside from that, you should be good to go.
Okay. You mentioned erasure coding, though. You mentioned something about erasure.
Yeah, that's coming hopefully first half of next year. There's not much left. People have been running erasure coding, and not much to say about it besides the fact that it's fast and seems to work well. The only thing that's missing there, which the reason you shouldn't use it yet, unless you really know the gotcha, is we're missing resilver, or the erasure coding version of re-replicate. If the drive dies and you've got degraded stripes, you can still read your data, but we don't have any kind of path to resilver those stripes.
Does your
everything else
reconcile work impact the implementation of that?
It does, actually. That kind of gave us the hooks and the engine that's going to drive all that resilvering stuff. And I reserved space and some metadata on this format stuff for exactly where erasure coding is going to plug into that. And when I got the rest of the design sketched out, so it's looking like it's not going to be that much work. But I got 2 more hardening projects to do before I can think about that stuff.
So when you say hardening projects, I think of security hardening, but do you mean a different type of hardening?
Yes, I mean the file system. This is file system land. The file system job is to never lose your data. I always tell people, I don't care what happens to your file system. I don't care whose fault it is, if it's user error or hardware error. As long as there's data on your file system, it's the file system's job to get back anything that can be gotten back, and repair it, and get it working again, fully read-write with no user intervention. That's the goal here. And judging from the bug reports that I'm seeing, we're basically there. I just got a bug report like last week. 2-device replicated file system. Tons of B-tree node errors only on one device. You glance at the log at first and you think that must be a Bcachefs bug, but then you look further and all the errors are like got wrong B-tree node, but on one device. The other device is good. And the amount is like there's no way a Bcachefs bug could like swap out all your B-tree nodes with the wrong B-tree node only on one device. That's just not possible. So my suspicion is that device mapper, like a configuration got screwed up or something and shifted all the offset of every data on that device. So that's the only thing I can imagine that could do that.
Oh, man.
So...
Okay.
But it's those kinds of situations you want things to just work from.
You want to be able to get your data back from that situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am very, very insistent and very hardline, even more hardline than the ZFS folks on this. Like if you compare Bcachefs and ZFS, ZFS was designed for enterprise deployments where you can depend on replication, you can depend on hardware that doesn't screw up flush and FUA. And if you're running it in those kind of situations, it should always work. But if you're running at single device mode on garbage hardware, there are failure modes that ZFS explicitly does not protect against, and you'll be sending your drive to a drive recovery service. Bcachefs handles those. Like, I don't care if you metaphorically light your file system on fire. We're going to get your data back.
We love that because we love garbage hardware.
I was going to say, this is where it sounds like it fits our home webs anyway.
We're all about garbage hardware. Make it last as long as possible, right? So it sounds like, I shouldn't even be asking this since you just released 1.33 this morning, but it sounds like the next bit of focus is some of this hardening work. That's kind of where you're going next?
Yeah, the other one is kind of cool too, because it's again a garbage hardware thing. We want to be able to run on devices where maybe flush and FUA is just broken and we can't do anything about it, like cheap SD cards or USB controllers. USB controllers often have buggy flush FUA. I've seen the bug reports, and this idea came out of a meeting with Valve a couple weeks ago. What I'm going to be doing is we've got Scrub now, and in recovery, we've got a journal, so we know what the most recently written data was. Why not just run a targeted scrub on only the last second of data that we wrote? And then we can detect specifically and prove that it was broken flush FUA in that case. And even better, we've also got whole file system rollback from the journal rewind thing. I remember that whole thing. So if we detect that, we could just roll your file system back to the last consistent point, and users don't have to care. Then we can run on garbage hardware, and it does not matter.
That sounds great.
I love that. Okay. So am I to get the impression, perhaps, that Valve is interested in a more robust file system for future use?
They might be.
Yeah, that's interesting. If they're paying attention, they probably should be. So that's good. That's good to know.
That was going to make
people should be paying attention to file systems, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm glad you are paying so much attention, and I'm glad it sounds like maybe Valve is consulting with somebody that knows their stuff.
Makes me curious. How's the support been like, both in terms of, you mentioned some of the volunteers for DKMS, but also just, monetary support as well. You mentioned during some of the turbulent times in the kernel that some of that back and forth was generating bad press that was maybe making it harder to find consistent support. Has anything changed there?
Well, things have gotten stable since Valve has jumped in and supporting. Yeah, it still really should be funded better. If you have any listeners with big pockets, this is a project that really should have 3 or 5 or 6 engineers working on it instead of me working ridiculous hours 7 days a week. That would be awesome. But it's stable and good, and I'm not sweating it like I was anymore.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that.
That's good, and that's mostly, is that due to the to Valve helping there? Is that stabilized things?
Yes.
That's good to hear.
And before Valve, a European funding agency, NLNet, they jumped in and helped out, and that was a big help.
Yeah, it really would be nice if a few more folks would step up. A few companies are going to probably, no doubt, one day make a lot of money off of Bcachefs. Should step in now, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Hey, does that cross your mind? You are, you're probably, I'm sure you're not living, luxurious. You're just, you're getting by on this. And someday some companies are going to probably sell network attached devices that sell for $30,000.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking long term here. Like, one of the things about the whole kernel community is they've gotten too far down the route of just chasing where the money is going, and things in file system land got very project manager focused without enough engineering focus on long-term plans. Like, how are we going to architect things so we can do what we want, not just a year from now, but 10 years from now. And right now, Linux kernel funding is very much dominated by the big cloud providers, and the big cloud providers don't care about reliability the same way the rest of us do.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole cloud thing, right? They're like, well, you'll just spin up more of these throwaway instances or whatever.
Yeah, if a node dies, it's no big deal if you got everything replicated across the cluster. But a lot of us actually do care about reliability of the single node. So I honestly don't care that much about the big cloud providers or the big money part of the tech industry, because they're not pushing technology forward in the field that I care about.
Yeah, they have a totally different approach to storage and how they manage this stuff that just doesn't really make sense for those of us trying to run regular sized arrays.
But there are people out there who do need a file system that will never fail, who do need, the core part of the system to be as reliable as humanly possible. So I'm not thinking about the big cloud providers. I'm thinking about I didn't even realize this until years ago. I saw it on my GitHub page. There was a little sticker, something about I had code running on Mars. And someone had noticed that everyone who had got code into the Linux kernel in probably some time frame or whatever, well, NASA's running Linux on the Mars rovers, which apparently they are. That means I've got code on Mars.
That's so cool.
So, yeah, but they don't just need the kernel. They actually need, a file system that's reliable enough that it's not going to take down the rover if it crashes, even if you're running in a high radiation environment where bit errors are just common and expected. That really can recover from anything.
Yeah, hopefully you can save my data before you transmit it and have a chance of sending it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of architecture stuff, you seem pretty open to the inclusion of Rust code in Bcachefs in the future. Can you touch on that?
I'm pushing hard for that.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, Rust is a sea change moment for systems programming. For decades, how we wrote systems code didn't change much, and you just had to deal with. You had to know that your code is perfect and be able to prove to yourself that your code is perfect. But the dream for a long time has been code programs with embedded correctness proofs, things like CompStrt. The first C compiler that is written in a language calc where you can prove that it always generates code that matches the specification. Wouldn't it be great if all code was like that?
Especially file system code.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love that because I hate debugging.
Yeah.
So the question has been, is that stuff ever going to be practical? And Rust actually solves a huge chunk of the problem for, in a language that we can actually use in the system space. That's huge. And there's deep reasons why Rust is designed the way it is and why it's well designed. Rust is about as close as you can get to a pure functional language in an imperative language as you can get, and you could argue that it's just as good as a pure functional language for all intents and purposes. And not just that, what's also coming on the horizon, there's been a big development in how you actually make embedded correctness proofs practical and not something that make you spend 10 times as long to write something like CompCert, which is dependent types. And Idris is the language that's been exploring this. It's a Haskell offshoot. And it's one of those things where in hindsight, if you're a kind of programming language nerd or a computer science nerd, you go, oh, that was obvious. Because there's this thing called Rice's theorem, which is an offshoot of, or kind of a corollary to the halting problem. The halting problem says, in a Turing-complete language, you can't prove or know ahead of time if a program completes or not. You just have to run it and see what happens. Rice's theorem extends that to, in a Turing-complete language, any property of the program, anything that program does, is either a direct consequence of the syntax or it's undecidable. You just can't know. So the direct consequence of the syntax thing is interesting because type systems are syntactical. You can reason about them syntactically. So what that kind of says is any practical advance in proving properties of programs has to be a type system thing, and that's what Idris and dependent types are doing. And it actually makes this stuff ergonomic. And I think one way or the other, that's going to make it into Rust someday. I mean, we could even do it because Rust has really, really good macros. We could probably add this stuff to Rust as procedural macros, and so my game plan is, this might be like 10 years out, 5 years before the Rust rewrite is mostly done. That won't be the big advance for Bcachefs. The big advance will be dependent types.
Can you explain more?
So file systems are giant state machines. There's tons of things that just have to be consistent.
Sure.
Like in the B-tree code, like all the locking stuff for the B-tree, like down in the iterators, lots of higher level stuff. And you can't model that stuff with the type systems of today. So I have to write these very long and very heavy assertions that in debug mode that just methodically check, is the entire state of this object correct?
So you have a giant state space to explore that you have to explore manually because the type system, the compiler can't, because you can't fully describe the complexity to the type system as is. Is that right?
Yeah. So anytime we mutate like the state of the objects that describe what locks we hold on the B tree, we have to call these verify functions, these asserts that check, is this a valid state? But all that stuff, with dependent types, that becomes stuff that the compiler can check for us.
Yeah, okay. That's great.
Well, is there anything you have to do, you're trying to do now? Obviously, dependent types takes getting to Rust and Rust getting that functionality, but are there things you're doing now practically today to try to prepare the code base?
Years ahead, basically, yeah.
You're leading into something that I mentioned in the changelog, yeah. So maybe, I don't know, a year ago, well, rewind, C finally got the cleanup attribute, which lets you run a destructor for an object when it falls out of scope. Now, this is basically pseudo RAII, like C++ and Rust have. And then the kernel wrapped this up into a nicer interface, the class thing. And I found that and started refactoring code and realized as I was doing it, you kind of have to get rid of gotos because gotos don't play nicely with the RAI stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So doing the whole conversion, going all the way, has real benefits. You kind of have to. You don't want to be in this weird intermediate state where you're trying to make sure the two don't conflict. And I got kind of far along and I realized, okay, this is actually making the code fairly close to what the Rust version would be. Like, it's not going to be a full rewrite for a lot of the code. It's going to be mostly syntactic. So I've been pushing on this stuff pretty hard for the past 6 months, and we're pretty far along. Like 6 months ago when I started, I grepped and word counted, and Bcachefs had 2,600 go-tos in the code base, which was about the same number as XFS. So pretty standard for a C code base of that size.
Sure.
And now we're down to about 600.
Wow.
And a lot of files don't have any at all. So the next step is going to be, and we've already got some Rust code and some Btree iterator, Btree API and transaction interface bindings. Those need to be improved and fleshed out. And then we can start thinking about, just taking a file and just doing not a rewrite, but just a translation. If we've got the bindings, then it should start to become straightforward. Start to become straightforward with giant air quotes, because there's always things that comes up, and there will be a lot of interface work, but it's actually looking tractable to convert 100,000 line code base to Rust, or at least large swaths of it, and that's freaking awesome.
Kent, I think what always impresses me, and you just demonstrated it here, it's like you have a grasp of like the really small, nuanced details that need to be addressed, and at the same time you're holding space in your head for like 5-year changes and really big macro stuff. Like, that's a pretty rare talent.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time at this point.
Well, it's really impressive. Okay, so I think the listeners are probably wondering, what is your Linux setup like? Are you constantly breaking your system with new builds? Do you kind of have a standard box? Do you have a specific distro you go to? The kind of things they might be interested in.
Oh, I don't faff with that stuff much anymore. I got too much work to do to screw around like I used to. So the big workstation is, which is still up in Canada, hosted by a friend in his colo facility. That's a Debian installation that I haven't reinstalled in like probably 15 years.
Oh, that's proper Debian. Yes, that's a proper Debian. Yep.
Yeah. So that's running not Bcachefs. Yeah, that's running ext4 on top of Bcache on top of MD RAID 6.
Yeah.
And that setup hasn't changed in forever. I've swapped out every drive individually to like grow the array, but that's literally the same array that I've had for like 15 years.
So that's like a home-based box that you SSH into or whatever, and it's kind of like your master machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you have like a laptop or something with you that's sort of your on the go machine?
Yep. And the laptop is running Bcachefs and NixOS.
Aha! Hey, NixOS. Just like hey, very nice. Yeah, I mean, NixOS has made it very easy to run Bcachefs. It's really great. So we're all three of us.
To them, Elvis Jericho as well, right? Like from before it was in the kernel to in kernel to after kernel, like all of it has been seamless, which is great.
Yeah, Elvis Jericho hangs out in the channel, and he's been interested in the systemd stuff, and we've been talking about ideas about how to sort that stuff out and get proper keep lives. What I want to do is there's Plymouth, I think, has some kind of mechanism for giving you information about your boot up. I can't remember off the top of my head what exactly is there, but what I want to do is plumb proper progress indicators up to Plymouth. In the not too distant future, we shouldn't need it for upgrades, but if there's major file system damage and we have to fall back to Btree node scan, we want to tell the user what we're doing and how long it's going to take.
Yeah, it's great.
Or if a drive is going bad and we know that, we want to be able to alert the user. So, yeah.
That would be really nice. Okay, now, no judgment zone. Do you have a desktop environment that's your go-to desktop environment on that laptop?
Sway.
Oh, fun.
All right. Why Sway?
Well, before Sway, I was using Awesome for years and years.
Nice. Yep.
And I love that. But it was X11 only, and it was never going to come to Wayland. And I finally did the Wayland switch for whatever reason. I don't have strong opinions on it. Wayland's been fine. But yeah, Sway was the Wayland option, and it's actually been really clean.
Yeah.
I like how it does configuration, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
So your NixOS configuration, is it like a configuration you've brought with you from machine to machine, or do you start fresh with a new when you got a new laptop? Like the first time you set it up, did you start fresh, or is this something you drag along with you?
Yeah. I try to keep my configs in a Git repository, which I'm very bad about keeping up to date. So I generally just move the whole SSD to the new machine.
That's such a file system guy thing to do. That's great. Yeah.
How can I be laziest?
Hey, as long as the disk's still good, right? That's what matters. It makes it easier. Well, gentlemen, do you have any other questions for Ken?
Oh, did you want to talk about maybe Bcachefs top? That was maybe something.
Oh, yeah, new tool.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's been out there for a while, but some improvements landed. Yeah. So Bcachefs top is this little thing that just shows you counters for your file system. It's the simplest, dumbest thing ever. But lets you see what your file system is doing. It's like, it's a new thing.
It's the kind of thing we love. We love it.
I like all this. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. Copy GC wait, a whole bunch of error information, IO read, IO write.
Ooh.
Yeah, some of those are old and probably don't make much sense and should be swapped out for better ones. But I've been doing a lot of work on like the reconcile and data update path, events and trace points. So the big thing that I just did was I was already moving in this direction, trying to hold to it. But I finally did a giant code base refactoring, so that like now it's done and things will never get out of sync. Every counter has a corresponding trace point. So the idea is that to see what your file system is doing, you look at FS top, that will show you like what events, what code paths, like what is it doing. And then if you want to drill down and find out anything more, the name of the counter is the name of the trace point, and the trace point gives you information about that specific event.
Wow. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smooth.
And the way trace points are done,
we could actually do it, maybe with a little LLM help, but we could get there.
And if any of those trace points isn't showing you the information that you need in order to understand what's going on, it's dead easy now to just, everything is pretty picture based. We can just dump a couple fields in or dump another variable in there, and it's like a 5-line patch. So you can just hop on the IRC channel and say, hey, I'm trying to figure out what this is doing, and then it could be like, here's a 5-line patch for you, and it'll be in the next release.
That is. I love how much, just from the developer perspective, how much sort of the modern development affordances and workflow you are trying to impose on this otherwise very austere and hard to use environment. And it seems like it's really paying dividends. I mean, from the file system as a database to insisting on automated testing to all the stuff you're just talking about.
Yeah, and a lot of the recent stuff, as the project has grown, a lot of the real polish and the stuff that I really like to see has come from just working with users. A lot of developers think of support as a chore, but what I've realized is that actually basically any support issue that comes up, there's something that we as engineers can do to just make the system either easier to use or tell you exactly what's going on or make the issue go away entirely. So doing support, it motivates you to just improve that kind of polish, and you get lots of really fruitful interactions about, hey, the system is doing something wonky, and you just got to be talking to people. And
I feel like when I think about Bcachefs' contribution to Linux over the next 20 years, you are in a very unique period of time right now where it would be great to have a lot of engineers. At the same time, you're very hands-on. I mean, Kent, you're not only like doing the day-to-day work, but you are communicating with users. You're writing comprehensive release notes that I think are better than most projects release, and then you're communicating with folks at us at the same time. And it's a special thing that's happening right now that 20 years from now people will be using a file system they may not even know that's had this kind of intention and energy put into it. But it's
a lot to juggle, but it's a lot of fun too.
Well,
and let me flip some of those questions around too, because you've been playing with Bcachefs a bit. What do you like about it? Like, what do you find modern and interesting about it?
I think I'm really kind of excited just having a file system that I can trust at the caliber that I would trust ZFS, but with features that feel more approachable, that it seems more reasonable on my type of systems, and is built in to the kernel or is easy enough with like NixOS to run as a DKMS module. And like you add all that stuff up, and it's essentially, it feels like the true Linux competitor to ZFS that we've been waiting for since Sun Microsystems was a company.
That's been the dream. That's what I and like funders and everyone have been talking about for years and years.
And not to take away from ZFS, like I want people, they can have it. It's great, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like ZFS deserves so much accolades and respect for showing us what a modern file system should be and demonstrating that it was even possible.
Right.
Like,
and it's made a lot of people happy. It's great. It's just we need something in Linux too, right? We need something that's GPL'd and something that's created kind of in the Linux ethos inside the Linux community for Linux, which is exactly what you're doing.
And there's also like legitimate technical advancements to be done on beyond what ZFS did. Like I think probably not a lot of non-file system nerds know about like the inner workings of this stuff, but ZFS was actually a very conservative design in a lot of ways technically, for very smart reasons. If you're trying to do a very ambitious feature set, you don't want to reimagine everything all at once. Right. But the core design, it very much is in line with the original Unix file systems of like radix trees of blocks hanging off the inode and like all the onDisk data structures. It's block based. It's not extant based. And you know, we knew like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, like XFS did extents. That extents are the way to go. The trouble was that extents and snapshots are a very difficult combination, and one that took me years to figure out. And there's lots of other stuff, like the whole file system as a database thing. You know, that I could talk for a while about that one, but that was, I think, Bcachefs' biggest contribution that's really simplified the design and made a lot of feature work just dead easy compared to what it would have been in previous systems. Like I'll give you one example. Towards the end of Reconcile, I was debugging with a user who would. There's like some stuff with like B-tree nodes not going on the pending list or coming off the pending list or something. But he mentioned a slow evacuate, and he's running on rotating disks. And I went, hang on. The main reconcile implementation scans the key space in logical key order, like inode number offset within the file. But for rotating disks, you really want to be doing it in like physical LBA order, order the disk layout, data is laid out in the disks. And No Fitzroff in the channel pointed out that, hang on, the old style evacuate, actually, you mentioned this when I was already doing the fix, but you mentioned that the old style evacuate code is already walking back pointers to do it physical LBA order. This is going to be a real performance regression. And, you know, evacuate is something that actually you do want to run at a reasonable pace. Yeah. So I had to add extra indexes for indexing pending reconcile work by physical LBA order, plumb it all into the triggers, add FS check, like the FS check passes to make sure that that stuff is correct, hook it into the back pointers code. I was able to get all that done in a day. Start to finish, when I was thinking about the design to passing tests and working. That's like, not everything is like that, but that's what you can sometimes do when you've got a good solid foundation. And, you know, like, of course, the database engineers are going, that's just adding a table. Like, we could do that in like an hour.
we follow that. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
You know, you said that. I think that like a good solid foundation. That's kind of what Bcachefs feels like. I'm using it here with compression and the built-in encryption, and we use and like Btrfs on the show, but it just feels like Bcachefs is primed to be sort of like a less sharp version that you can just sort of always trust.
Yeah, something that you can debug.
Yeah.
That tells you where it's wrong, that you have, you know, you can at least recover data off of, and where like the features that are in, you know, you can rely on them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm going for.
I think it's one of the projects that we follow with the most interest and excitement. So thank you for just all of the work you've done, especially recently. It just seems like it's really been going from strength to strength.
Yeah, the community feedback, doing it for the normal people. That's what I'm in this for. Like, I don't care about like what Red Hat or Facebook are doing. I'm just, you know, writing code that's solid and reliable and makes people happy. That's fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you know, there'll be just every day more and more people using it every day, and it's going to solve more problems as people learn about it. So, and we're going to keep spreading the word too. So.
Yeah, if we do have users who give it a go after this, and they do run into issues, what are the best ways for folks to actually interface with you and either get support or file bugs?
Jump on the IRC channel. You can file a bug, but it's generally a lot quicker to get stuff resolved if you can join the IRC channel, and we can just, you know, talk people through like gathering what information we need, and just having a normal conversation makes things a lot quicker. And then we can bring them into the community and get them to do more testing and file more bugs.
Excellent.
Thank you, Kent.
Yes. Pleasure.
All right, I'm hitting stop, gentlemen. Brent, you can hit stop right there.
Sounds good.
So are you... Well, Mr. Drew, this is probably where our second sponsor block should go. So we'll need one in the middle there around our regular 1Password time. And I assume you probably know the order. I'm hearing a little buzz on my line. I don't know what that's about. There was a bit of buzz on that line because, Kent was doing it from a tent. Oh, yeah, my camera did die. I thought so. Did I not call it? Not a bad shot. I could just roll. I could call with that. Anyways, we chatted with Kent for a bit more afterwards. It was a nice chat. And just walked away from that interview even more impressed, really. I have to be honest with you. Especially to his commitment to the whole thing as well. And you haven't, should we talk about, we could talk about this on the other end. Do you have any thoughts to share there, Brentley? Do you have, that's
really what stood out, like, kind of the most to me was just his dedication for years in creating this project that he really deeply cares about, right? And finally getting lots of users and also lots of support. Like, we got a little hint about Valve there being, stepping up to the table and saying, yes, we want to support a modern file system for Linux that's GPL that they can use to solve some of their...
Wait. I wasn't asking to share them now. But it's okay. It's all right. It's good. No, it's good. It's fine. We can get it now. Just go finish it now. We can build with the members. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
And I think that's really honorable. Like, it's maybe not a fair trade-off that he's living a seemingly simple lifestyle, though he's definitely described how he's loving his time. But like you mentioned, Chris, some of those trade-offs we should recognize as a greater Linux community. Some of these people really put their life aside to make Linux a priority, and we should honor that.
There we go. So it was a 49-minute chat. Can you believe that? Wow.
We hadn't chatted for a while, and a lot had happened.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, all right. Well, I think that's good. So, I was trying to think if did you have anything you wanted to put in when we come back? Yeah, I think it's all captured in there. Okay.
More stuff we'll talk about later, because we're not going to stop talking about Bcachefs.
That's true. That is true.
Bcachefs.
So, Brentley, I think it's then time for you to, when we come back, set us up. Oh, actually, so...
I see that.
Yeah, although... doesn't Magnolia... I think it was Hybrid that boosted. Hybrid boost in about the boosties. Let me see.
I think that was last week, maybe. No, maybe not.
I'm scanning. Here we go. Hybrid sarcasm. Just completed my holiday home lab submissions. Right. Be gentle, and who's in the lead for the boosties? So we could answer it then.
That works.
I don't know if do we want to say who's in the lead?
Well, you got to create some competition.
Chat room, should we say who's in the lead now, or should we wait till the boosties? Let's let the chat room decide. What do you say?
You could just tease, not give the amounts, but say the top three.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, that's a good default. Kind of gives away the
boosties. We want people to come to the boosties.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
That's my only concern. Yeah. Could we say who's in the top three, but not say?
Oh, sure.
Like we randomize the order. Does the chat room have an opinion on this? No.
I mean, you could even go top 5.
We lost the chat room. We talked about file systems and we lost the chat room.
We're out. They're probably busy installing Bcachefs, rebooting and stuff.
That's reasonable.
That's what I'm going to say.
I'd like to think that they're K-execing Wes.
Kazek.
I'd like to think that. Okay, so we have absolutely nobody in the chat room with no feedback.
All right. Well, then we're doing the top 3 mixed up order.
Lesson there, I guess.
You do top 5 to even just like make it more mysterious.
See, people say they like
generous. You're too generous.
They say they like it when we get technical, but then we bring a kernel developer on and we talk technical, and then they all leave. What does that tell you? Maybe they just liked it so much they have nothing to say. All right, so we decided to do the top 3, but we won't say in what order. So let's take the top 4. And will you just take those, remove the amounts, randomize the order, and then put them under Hybrid's boost? Do you mind doing that? Thank you.
I can totally do
You
that.
are the best, Wes. I know, right?
Good Wes Boss.
And see, people say I can never delegate. You see?
There's Hybrid.
PJ is our baller booster. Little spoiler.
CB says he enjoyed the conversation.
I'd like to think that PJ is listening even though he's working.
Yeah, that's what headphones are for.
Yeah. There's some people I don't like to think listening. Like I don't like to picture anyone in my family listening.
Like your mother or something?
Makes me self-conscious, right? And then, but then like, yeah, you don't like, I don't want to, like PJ's not listening. I don't want to do the show. So, there's other people you want listening. It's just how it goes. Oh, is the chat room? I see some movement now. Okay. Mayhem says do it.
It's almost like there's a chat room latency.
I was walking to a customer store. Look at Mayhem doing it while he's working while he's listening.
Impressive. Dude's
always working.
Oh, CB's been listening with the bated breath the whole time.
Oh, good. I mean, were you not impressed with Kent, guys? Right? Like, I mean, you gotta get over the noise in the back. But you dude's in South America in a tent, right? I mean, come on.
I was impressed that he can get so much work done considering the noise in the background.
I don't think it bothers him. Yeah, I don't think.
No.
Well, you can kind of get into it,
and we had to do some futzing to like get everything working, which he was happy to do. And
yeah, that's true. I do think. I mean, what the F do I know? But I do think if I was ever going to survive down there, I'd have to get into the groove of it's community, it's kids and family. They're out playing outside. Like we could use a little bit more of that here.
We could, yeah.
And so if you get in the right mindset, it can be a pleasant thing as long as it's not. I guess that's what headphones are for, right?
Dangerous got maybe the best excuse.
Okay.
I'm refactoring my NixOS config more and didn't have Element open.
My man. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah.
They know how to get us.
That's cool. Yeah, I would love to. I just wanted to ask you about a setup because I always wonder what these guys they do day to day. Like what do you?
While we were chatting with Kent, I kind of pictured us going down there, for a little trip sometime.
I know. I was wondering during our chat, like, what would it cost to fly Kent to El Salvador, and then we just do a audience-funded SATS trip to El Salvador, where Bitcoin's the native currency, and we just do a little meetup with Kent and anybody else that wants to join us, and do a little episode in paradise on the beach.
You said you want to go camping with the community.
Yeah, there you go.
How long would it take to float the van over?
I'll have to modify it slightly. Give me a month or two.
Well, you can at least chain it down now. Yeah, it's a long flight. It wouldn't be as long for Kent, but it'd be a long flight for us. And the longest part is not very comfortable, I have to be honest with you. A little more
like
budget.
Bumpy or bad planes?
A little bumpy and a little more budget seats. A little tighter together.
Okay.
A little more crowded, a little bit more going on the plane. Not bad. I mean, I made it.
But I thought Cessna Mike was going to...
Oh, there you go. Get Cessna Mike involved. Him and anybody else out there as a pilot, maybe we just do like drop-offs, One listener flies us part of the way, another listener picks up and flies us.
Tag team.
That would be so fun.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess don't set us up for a Boosties preview. Set us up for the regular old boosts, and then we'll do the little preview in line with Mr. Hybrid's question. All right?
Okay.
So
we'll scrolling. Give me a moment here. Oh, God. Okay, I found it.
You found it?
Scroll equal.
Yep. Here we go. In a 3, in a 2.
Well, we have a special baller booster today. It is our dear PJ. Jeff boosts in. Jeff boosts in a row of McDucks, 22,222.
Things are looking up for old McDuck.
Jeff says, okay, Brent, okay, call me out for not boosting while I'm out running errands and can't defend myself. A guy only has so many sats to boost.
That's true.
Always down to boost a good soapbox episode, though. I should make some soapbox art for merch or something.
Oh, great idea.
That'd be good. Could you get me, if I'm on a soapbox, could it be me in a soapbox with a dress shirt and shorts, my traditional style for the summer, and then like maybe holding a flag for Linux Unplugged. It's like rah, and I'm like crying to the sky with my rant, I guess. I don't know. I wanted to, invoke a real image.
Quest for your desktop freedom.
Yeah. I think I just came up with a prompt.
Yes, you did. Can someone just run that?
For an animated Jeff.
Thank you, PJ, for being our baller booster, sir. And glad you're listening. Appreciate that support. Also just a quick note. PJ mines those sats I don't know these ones in particular, but often when he boosts in, he mines with solar energy. Yeah, he uses clean solar energy to mine his sats, and then he boosts in the show. How about that? How cool is that?
For Jeff, those sats are as local as possible. They're made on his roof.
Yep.
And, Jeff sends us all kinds of value in all kinds of ways.
Magnolia Mayhem comes in with 2,123 sats. That's 2, 1, 2, 3.
Make it so.
I'm back at it like an old pair of jeans. That's the last time I let my filthy clanker touch my Nix config. Uh-oh. Yeah, every now and then it goes bad, man. It can go real bad. Wipe out a user account or two on you.
How would you know anything about that?
Wouldn't know anything about that. Thank you for the boost. Thank you, Magnolia. Appreciate you.
Southern Fried Sassa comes in with a row of ducks. Oh, it's for me, for Wes.
Oh.
If the family wants to rid themselves of that radioactive artifact.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if the listeners
This was
caught
from the members feed.
Yeah, in the members feed, you told us about something you discovered over the holiday.
Yeah, radioactive personnel identification marker from the World War II era.
Mm-hmm.
Southern Sassa goes on to say most gun and knife shows will have at least one guy who peddles in World War II memorabilia.
That's true.
No shipping required. Also, I had to tune into the video stream to see the infamous kitties. Brent, your co-stars are the true stars.
That's true.
Sorry.
That's true.
Hey, I completely agree.
Good idea there. Thank you.
Yeah, that is. During our chat with Kent for most of it, Brent's cat Cosmo was completely wrapped around him like a scarf. Just completely wrapped around
a live scarf.
Stylish.
Yeah.
It even purrs.
Thank you, Southern Fried. Appreciate you.
Well, so Ham sent in 2,000 sats.
BOOST.
Just a clarification on Git here. I don't mean the people shouldn't learn or be taught Git. Rather, that it's basically impossible to teach people Git because of its incredible complexity and just downright weird UI and UX. For example, just take a look at, and they link us to a blog here, it looks like, maybe a man page, and tell me if that page is real or fake.
Yeah, you should check this out because it's a great site.
Okay. All right. What do you mean if it's real or fake? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, just take a peek. It's going to show you a man page.
Okay. Oh, Git sock command. Is this real? Git exhibits which blob? Okay, I would have no idea. I'm going to guess this is not a real command.
No, it's a generator of fake commands.
This is funny.
But the point is, they look shockingly like actual Git.
That's a pretty great way to draw that point. That's pretty clever. I appreciate that. Huh. I was just, while Brent was reading that boost, I was just browsing github.com. It's just fascinating how nowhere on there does it say Git. It says GitHub. Very little, but nothing about Git. Nothing. It's just...
No, not until you kind of get into the details. And if you use their, GH tool, even less.
Yeah. That's interesting, huh?
Yeah, you actually, with the web interface, you almost don't need to know Git if you're just managing a project or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, there he is. It's Gene Bean, guys. He came in with a row of ducks. It's as though I use iOS as my daily driver. I always keep some kind of phone around running Lineage OS or something similar. Given a reasonable price, I'd absolutely love for that device to be one that shipped with Graphene OS.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said that'd be fun. The kicker for me is that I need it to not be as pricey as a flagship phone so that I can justify it as a secondary device.
Fair enough.
As crazy as it sounds, there's a market for a secondary phone device. I mean, I carry 2 phones, and I agree you don't need the second phone to be the most cutting-edge phone.
They're small computers. And how many computers do we have already?
Maybe that's where the new Yellow phone will fill a gap. Thank you, Gene. It's always great to hear from you. Appreciate you very much.
Hybrid Sarcasm comes in with 10,000 sats.
Put some macaroni and cheese on there, too.
Just completed my holiday home lab submission. Well, thank you. That's great.
All right.
Be gentle, he implores us. Also, who's in the lead for the Boosties 2025 prize?
Oh, okay. All right. And remember, there's going to be a giveaway, right? Hybrids mentioned this, a giveaway for a Jupiter Party membership. Now, we don't want to give away the winners or the totals, so we looked it up. We got the current numbers, and then Wes put the names through a randomizer. So this is who's currently in the top 4 for the most boost to this show in 2025. Blackhost, our podcast, Adversary 17, and The Dude Abides. All in the range of top 4. That list was in no particular order. It was randomized.
And we are, I guess, in line with the holiday home lab. I think the boosties will coincide, right? So
I think that's the way we'll do it. We'll do it together. So we'll be one big spectacular episode for the holidays.
Which would mean that you have until, say, maybe the 18th or 19th to get any boosts in if you do want to
be at the top.
Yeah. Reclaim your standing.
Thank you, Hybrid. Who's go? My go? I can go. Is it your go?
I think it's Brent.
Okay, go for it, Brent.
It's me.
Take it.
Well, Daoma boosts in 2,000 sats.
This is the way.
Lately, I've been able to leverage more open source tools, namely Ansible, OpenTofu at work, as well as syseng.
Okay.
Lately, I've been able to leverage more open source tools, namely Ansible and OpenTofu, at work as a sys engineer. I find myself thinking about it constantly and working much later hours while still feeling that I have a good work-life balance, even though I'm working for free, basically. Should I find other work that would better utilize this passion? Is it possible to just pick up an IT sys gig on the side, for instance? I'm not a dev, so I struggle to understand how I can contribute beyond submitting a PR on GitHub for a typo.
Well, infrastructure is a great skill set. You don't necessarily have to be a developer, and of course they do blur more and more. Side gig question, yes. I think small businesses are always looking for help. They need somebody who can do part-time work because they can't afford a full-time IT person often. So if you know a small business in your area, could be somebody that you patron and you've noticed they have computer problems. That has literally worked for me in the past. And then going back to essentially working for free, I often find myself, when I'm in the learning phase, I've got a lot of energy to just really commit to this, and maybe sometimes an employer benefits from that, but I'm also benefiting.
Yeah, I think you can probably frame it as like an investment in yourself, and there's a certain value, at least I have, I imagine you do too, on, curiosity, learning, and the sort of the fun play discovery aspects of making this stuff work.
What's that Dunder Mifflin curve too about learning stuff, You know what I'm talking about, where at the beginning you don't know what you don't know, and you start to think you're an expert, and then as you learn more, you realize you have so much more to learn, and then you kind of go down that curve and become an expert again. And I think too, like, you could burn through a bit of that phase during this, kind of learn what you don't know, have a better understanding of a wider context, and then absolutely make a career out of it.
For me, there's also something to be said for having a way to apply the things you're learning. So sometimes the work environment is that place. And if you're going to be learning it on your own, maybe you don't have the same opportunity to solve a problem or implement a new solution.
I do think you're right. Infra is often something open source projects need. I think it's probably a little tricky to get involved because you're probably going to have to hang around a little while to figure that out. It's not always advertised, but I'm just thinking,
True.
The Podverse folks are hard at work on their latest versions, and I know there's some folks who are part of our community who help out on their infra side, and that's...
Podverse is a great shout out. It's a great idea.
So I don't know about the particular communities that you're involved with necessarily, but there's probably something out there somewhere that needs some love.
Retro Gear comes in with 2,908 sats. By the way, thank you. That was a great boost.
Oh my god, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops!
Gentlemen, GitHub, and then he links us to his Proxmox NixOS, which actually works pretty well. I'm running on I have it running on a few VMs, and
I think they're just linking to just the GitHub specifier for Proxmox.
Yeah, but I'm tripping. I'm running on a few VMs. I'll start over. I have it running on a few VMs on there, and
it's the VMs are running on the Proxmox.
Yeah, but what am I screwing up on here?
I could also read this one.
All right, yeah, well, here, you take it. You just take it from the top and make it sound better, okay? Ready when you are, because I'm cross-eyed, apparently.
Retro Gear boosts in with 2,998 sats.
Oh my god, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops!
No, using Albi.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, connected to Fountain now. That's a beta feature.
Neat.
Yep. Albi Hub. Nosterwall Connect.
Okay, Retro says, Jens, Proxmox NixOS actually works pretty well. This is the sort of hybrid, right? It's like Proxmox, but it's running on NixOS.
I've been seeing a bit more buzz around this, so I'm interested to hear what he has to say.
I'm running a few VMs on there that can't be done with modules or Docker containers.
Ah.
Cheers.
Wonder what those would be.
Well, so basically, I think just like stuff you might want to run in a VM.
Yeah.
So as an alternative, right, instead of doing the setup we were doing with Home Assistant, you could run Home Assistant on Proxmox,
Right.
still running on NixOS.
Right. Interesting.
That's a lot of layers, but it could solve some problems.
Yeah.
I mean, you do it. You probably want to have all the Proxmox stuff, right? Like the API and all the.
Yeah, and if you're like baked into the Proxmox backup system and you know that system, that makes a ton of sense.
Appreciate the experience report. That's super useful.
I'd love to hear more of them.
Well, Turd Ferguson here sends us a boost, 14,444 cents.
Turd Ferguson!
Hey boys, did you see that Bazite pushed a petabyte of ISOs in the last 30 days? It looks like they also just crossed 40,000 active weekly users. Do you think everyone is loading these on Steam Decks or something?
If they're hitting 40,000 active users, there must be some active Bazite users out in the audience. I also would love some feedback on if you've put it on a Steam Deck. I have my Steam Deck. Have not been using it as much the last few weeks because we went back to the Switch for smoother Breath of the Wild playback. Yeah. So I mean, that'd be a good time to reload that thing. I'd love some field experience out there. I got to imagine it's people that are trying to do a Steam-like experience on non-deck hardware. That would be my gut.
Although
that
it would
makes
work
sense
just
to me
fine
as well.
Yeah.
If you just game a fair amount and also need a workstation.
Yeah, I wonder.
Or if you've got like sort of like Jeff does, if you have a living room computer that you want to have a similar experience, that might be a nice option.
I think that makes Bazite clearly the winner of the UBlue projects. That's great for them and probably great for all the other projects too. Well, there you go. Thank you, everybody that boosted this show. We really do appreciate it. And all of you who stream sats. 22 of you stream those sats, and you collectively stacked 37,664 sats. That would be one of our largest boosts for this episode. That would be the largest boost if you collected it all together. So thank you very much. When you combine that with our messengers, we stacked 98,395 sats, just under that 100K sats line for this episode. Not our best week, but we do appreciate everybody who contributes to the show with their time, their talent, or their treasure, be it through a membership or through a boost. We are here every week for you, doing the show that only Linux Unplugged can do, and that's because we're focused on our audience and not clickbait or things that might play well on shorts or YouTubes or things like that. We're just trying to make great quality content for our audience. And thank you, everybody who boosts with something like Fountain FM or Alby Hub or one of those. We really do appreciate you. Fountain does just keep getting easier with lots of features. Fountain.fm for all of the hosted infrastructure. Podcastapps.com for those new apps. And of course, if you'd like to support with a membership, that's linuxunplugged.com/membership and Jupiter.party for all the shows. I gave you a lot of URLs, but I trust you. You're pretty clever. You're pretty clever. All right, we got an overloaded pick section. We should probably move through this pretty quick. So let's start with the one you probably shouldn't use. .files installer. .files installer, everybody.
Yeah, what is going on here?
Woo! All right, well.
Is this your way of not using Home Manager?
No. I'm not using this. Although I did use it to back up my .files. That was great.
So you're using it.
So it's really for people that publish, different communities publish these curated .files. So you can pull down one file that has all these configurations for popular apps and desktop environments. And it's way beyond theming. It's a whole system vibe. And you can have lots of different sources of these. You can have the problem where you're overwriting things. What this application does is it lets you manage the various sources, turn things on and off, back up your own things, and essentially try to prevent any kind of loss that would mess your system up entirely while you're YOLOing everybody's different configurations down. And so it does try to prioritize data safety, offering a robust backup functionality before you start just YOLOing different configs down. And then you can also publish your own ones if you want to help other people just YOLO into their config. And it is a nice GTK application. It makes it very clear how you could possibly be messing your system up.
You're making me like it.
I know, right? I know. I mean, I don't think anybody should do this. Don't do this, blah, blah, blah. Safety first, all that. Don't do as we do. But if you just had a system where you didn't care a whole bunch or it was easy to roll back, this does make it kind of easy to roll back.
Or you intentionally want to experiment.
Yeah, like
Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, I mean, say you wanted to get yourself on Hyperland or Sway or one of these, and you don't really know how the hell to set up anything that looks nice. Sometimes these can be a nice starting place.
That's a good point.
So the stop files installer is GPL3. I believe it's on FlatHub as well. Okay, now you ready for this next one?
Yeah, this one I kind of like.
This one for me, when macOS started getting good, now it's gone the other direction, but when the first releases, it was pretty rough, but they started getting to a point where a lot of independent developers started getting on board and creating these purpose-built applications that just make life a little bit simpler and easier for a lot of users on macOS.
Right. They could just focus on this one little task and do that well. And so it was pretty polished and it had all the features that would come with working on it for a little while.
And it would kind of become like the go-to application for doing this. Well, I hope that's SSH Studio. It's a GUI that's a GTK4 libadwadia GUI that is an easy-to-use config editor for your SSH setup. And it gives you what they call a visual host editor to edit common fields like the host name, the host, the users, the identity files, any forwarding agent setup. It does inline validation. Of course, it lets you search across your machines. But I think the bigger feature in here is really probably for folks who would be using a tool like this is maybe the SSH key management stuff. It's if you connect to a handful of hosts, if this is an area that has sort of been troubling for you, like it's exact kind of example of these purpose-built applications that as a platform grows in user base, we just start to see a demand for it. And so in a way, I wanted to note it because I feel like it's important in that way, but B, it's actually kind of a useful app. It's pretty lean, pretty mean.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of shows you what's going on. It could be a nice way to investigate a system. It could also be a good way to discover some of the options that do exist for your SSH config and connections if you haven't taken advantage of those.
That's a great point.
And it's easy to install with Flatpak.
GPL3.
Nice.
Last but not least is what I'm calling the honorable mensch section of the picks because it's something we talk about too much.
And you couldn't resist talking about it some more.
They just came out with a great release. I found it personally very useful for tracking my total cost of ownership of my vehicles. We've talked about LubeLogger before, but a big version just dropped, and I want to let you know about it because I think these are great. First up, a new feature, inspections. Pretty much what you'd expect. It's custom forms where you can go inspect your own vehicle and create reusable inspection forms, which is awesome for me.
That's great.
And create your own inspection checklist and then log that in LubeLogger. Huge, huge. Also now support for households. So this is one of the most requested features of LubeLogger. It's the ability to allow users to inherit vehicles in a garage and limit what actions they can perform on those vehicles. So kind of like a permission structure. And so you no longer have to add a user and each vehicle. Instead, you can add them to a household. And then you just add that car, you add them to the household, they automatically get access to the vehicles in your garage.
Wow.
And they also created a viewer only, so a read-only user. They are handling, I think, the integration of AI in a pretty reasonable way. They say, we know it's controversial, so what we're doing is instead of adding AI directly into LubeLogger, we're asking for an API key. And then we've decided to create an MCP server for LubeLogger that you spin up separately, probably like a container or something like that.
Right.
And then you would use that as a bridge between AI agents. So instead of having it built directly into main LubeLogger, it's like a sidecar.
Yeah, I mean, it seems reasonable enough, right? Basically, it's just repackaging probably the existing API into the MCP standard.
Now, there are some features in there that are kind of neat. It allows you to add fuel records from receipts, odometer records from a picture.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you just take a picture of your dashboard, update the odometer reading. Yeah.
You might actually do it.
Or like when we take our trips to any event that we drive to, we have to track all the receipts. And so like when we're on a road trip, we will sometimes just have like just a massive bundle of receipts when we're driving across the continent.
Uh-huh.
And this time around, I was using, I think, QuickScan and paperless, to try to capture it. But
a little more real time.
A little more, but something like this for my maintenance records and stuff like that, where I could just bring it right in. It's just anything that makes that smoother is really, really, really great. And then also invoices and those types of things too, like for repairs. It's still an experimental stage, but that's I think an idea where it's implemented they're not slamming it in your face. You can run this sidecar and opt in. And then, by the way, once you do opt in, here's an actual couple of practical, useful things.
Not bad.
I think they nailed that. So I think that deserved an honorable mention, huge release for LubeLogger. And it's really been a game changer for me because it helped me understand that like this vehicle's actually two of my vehicles are now beginning to cost more than I want to spend on them in maintenance. And you can track that kind of stuff in a way that isn't tedious. So I have not been historically great at that, and LuBlogger has made that very easy. So thank you to them, and congratulations. Also, thank you to Kent for taking the time to join us. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of demands on his time, and we really appreciate him taking the time to chat with us. And we'll put some links to the new release in the show notes. And don't forget, he's also on Patreon. So if you want to support his work directly, that's how he's getting it done. We'll try to put a link to that in the show notes, too, so people can do that. And Wes, besides those show notes being over at linuxunplugged.com/644, if they're in a mobile client that has a few fancy features, they might get some bonus stuff, some stuff that makes the show even better for them.
Yeah, cloud chapters for one. That's right. JSON delivered live right to your podcatcher.
And don't forget about those beautiful transcripts that are derived from individual tracks of each host, so it is the most pristine transcription we can possibly generate for you. And for the clients that support it, we are also doing attribution, so it tells you which speaker is speaking. That isn't easy, but we do it for you, and it's out there. And hopefully, as we just do more episodes, we're going to create a huge data set that we'll use for something one day. I don't know what. And then last but not least, as we round out the year...
See you next week. Same bad time, same bad station.
We sure would. We sure would love to have you join us live. There it is. jblive.tv on a Sunday. Make it a Tuesday on a Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, that is also technically a magical feed feature.
That's true. It's in those feeds. And then don't forget, December 19th live. It is the Home Lab Holiday Special, and you need to get your submissions in by that Wednesday. So that would be the 17th. Get your submissions in at linuxunplugged.com/holiday. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. We sure appreciate you listening, and we'll see you right back here next Tuesday, as in Sunday.
Poof, magic.
Thank you, Drew. All right, Mr. Brentley, all stop, sir. Okay, gentlemen, we should pick our title. And then we'll get out of here before I have some sort of collapse on air because my brain is not here. Not here. I don't know where it is, but it ain't here. Maybe it's back at home in bed still. That'd be great. That'd be great.
I think it's in /etc/NixOS.
I did get. I mean, I sound like such a whiner. I'm sorry. But I actually am very proud because I actually did get 2 hours in last night and with the CPAP. So, in theory, not too bad. No, I didn't.
2 hours?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bad night just because the kids got in late and it was a whole thing. Everybody's finally better. Nobody's sick.
Now they're doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, so last chance to bang suggest.
Yeah, we need a good title for this one.
I do like yours. Reconciling with Bcachefs, which I submitted, but it was your idea.
Oh, yeah, right.
We just put it in the doc, so I just pasted it in there. Okay, here they come. Here they come. Here they come.
Whoa.
Here they come. Bring it up. Bring it up. Results are coming in live.
So this is why it's Magnolia Mayhem.
If you're on the commercial stream and you would like to vote, you do need Element, but you can run it in the browser. It's something like app.element.io.
It is exactly that.
And you can create a free account at matrix.org. And then you just join we have a link at Jupiter Broadcasting. And then you could vote. And if you set that in there, then every time you're watching live, you can do that. And it's essentially like IRC. It's always going. You can open up the client and unlike IRC, when you're not there, you can still read the stuff that happened. Reconciling, there's mine. Macro Morning. That's a great idea for me doing a macro news podcast in the morning. A daily morning.
Well, Macro Morning with Chris.
I would love that. Here's what's
Capital
new.
Markets, Chris.
Here's what's new in macro news for Monday. That'd be great. I mean, let's be honest. What is TWIB but 75% macro news? All right. Should I release the voting? You ready? It is now time. As the great boat
Dunning-Kruger FS.
Yeah. It is the Dunning-Kruger, right? I made a joke about it being the Dunder Mifflin. Oh, see, now I can't even make the joke, but I had enough cognizance at the time to make the joke. All right. Get in that matrix room.
A file system for the people. People's file system.
Okay, so there's some good ones. I think my two top contenders are the People's File System and Reconciling with Bcachefs. Reconciling with Bcachefs has a slight lead because it's a double meaning. Because it's literally the biggest new feature that landed, and it's kind of like, reconciling after the kernel stuff.
Stuff has happened.
Yeah. But Kent says, a file system for the people, too. So that gives some preference also that direction. So we have the People's File System, and we have Reconciling with Bcachefs. The People's File System is currently pulling ahead, which, may be more generally appealing as a title. So remember, you're voting on what you would tap. Not what you know about the episode, but if you were coming in cold and you had no idea what the episode was about, you had 4 or 5 podcasts on your list, and we want you to tap ours, which title gets you to listen? That's what you're voting by. Get in there, help name episode 644, the one with Kent Overstreet. All right, I think the People's File System is winning by 2 votes right now, which I'm good with. I think we have a winner. That was another Wes Payne. Look at you go. I didn't even realize that was a Wes Payne.
Competing with myself accidentally.
So funny. Sometimes you are in a file system zone. You lock in. Or I mean a file system. A title zone. You really do.
Yeah. Kent does the file systems. I'll do the title.
Yeah, that is something maybe the project could use, is really cool titles for each release.
Yeah, right. There you go. Keep people interested.
All right, I can live with that. I can live with the People's File System. Good job, everybody.
We got it sorted.
We did.
Without too much fuss.
Well done. That's nice. That's nice.
Which is good, because I don't think we're up for a debate.
No, not me, at least. Woof. Woof. I'm going to try to stay awake. We have Indian food inbound.
What?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to stay. We're going to try to stay awake for that, but
I think we have Brent inbound now too.
Yeah, I wasn't invited, but I feel like that's an invitation.
Well, if you can get here soon, it does reheat well. I will say that.
That's true.
It does.
That is
reheat
true.
Well. Not all things like that do, but that does most of it. All right. Any other biz? I feel like there's biz that I'm forgetting.
CBA has a community suggestion here.
Okay.
I vote for a moratorium on Wes suggesting titles to give everyone else a chance.
That's fair. That's
fair.
But
we need good titles. You don't want to take the champ out of the game.
Or give him a handicap. Rosado
2 titles. He can
yeah.
Still the 2 bangers, though. Probably what it is Wes is dialed into what I like and what we like.
It's so
group,
true.
And so
it's so true.
You know what?
You just put Brent in there and it gets chosen.
No, what we need is we need Wes's Moriarty. So, now we need somebody to compete with Wes. Somebody who can take Wes on. This is gonna breed even better titles. And then that's what's gonna make the massive switch to Linux, is because this great podcast title they started listening to, they got into Linux. And now they started switching to Linux. Wouldn't it be neat if we had some sort of counter, though? Because it's not 0 people that have switched to Linux because of the show. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but it's probably more than 5.
I would hope so.
I mean, how many people have we met when we go to meetups? This, probably 1 person or 2 people or 3, 5. It kind of depends on the meetup. But you hear from a couple people. I started, So you got to wonder if there was a way to count it. It'd probably be a pretty cool number. I don't know what it would be.
They could write in and let us know.
There's no way we could. Plus, I'm not talking about people that people that previously listened back in the Linux Action Show days and Linux Action News days.
Well, you have evidence from the competition that it's at
I was going to say, right. How many has Noah
people.
personally switched?
Wow, that is beautiful. Can I just clean that yard up and move in, dude? Just clean that yard up and move in.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
Yeah, that looks great. I'll put up This is so Magnolia just shared a picture of like, what would you call that? It's not a, is that a cottage? No.
House?
Well, it's definitely a house. I'm just trying to think of the style.
In the woods?
There's a style. It's a particular style of house. I'm blanking on what it's called.
It's got a big porch in the front. It kind of feels like a homesteady kind of.
Yeah. It's funny, when you go out in the woods, you do find like somebody tried to set up a little homestead out there and it worked for a little while. And then what often happens is somebody gets sick and it doesn't work anymore. And then the place gets abandoned because nobody in the family wants to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I see an air conditioner and also a fireplace.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in.
I know, dude. It's got a great little fireplace. It's cute. It just needs a little cleanup.
Send
probably
the
get
GPS coordinates.
Get the squirrels out. It's probably got a few squirrels in there. Maybe some.
Well, their company.
Yeah, well, they're Brent's wall insulation sometimes.
Yeah, the first pretty decent little.
They are fluffy.
Yeah, and eventually they just sort of stack themselves in there, and so you don't have to bother. It just takes a little time. So that's nice. That's really nice. All right, so here's what we know, guys. Members, this is sort of the best picture we have, but just want to let you know. So the 14th is our next live show. That's next Sunday. And then we'll do the Home Lab special on the 19th. Then we're off. We'll probably be back on the 28th and do our predictions review and 2026 predictions, which I guess we better start cooking. I have a note somewhere where I've put a few in there throughout the year, but I don't know if I have any great ones. I can't really say.
This is the exact feeling we get right about this time of year, so I think everything's on track.
So we will not have a live episode on the 21st, but we will have...
Because we will be airing...
the Holiday Home Lab special that we recorded on the 19th. Does that make sense? So next live show is the 14th, then the 19th, which is a pre-record for the 21st, which we will be off for the holiday week, and then we'll be back on the 28th to do our predictions episode, which is always fun. If you want to join too, we could always take some mumble predictions.
Bring your predictions.
Mm-hmm. Chat room predictions, always welcome.
You probably have a better chance than we do. We're pretty bad at this.
Also good. We should have said this in the show. This is a lot to say, but we could have probably started telling people to start boosting in their predictions too, so they could get some in the show. It'd be nice to get those in the predictions episode. Should have thought of that. All right. But with that, it's time for Indian food and then a nap. Gonna take a nap. I want to take a nap. But
you have earned a nap, sir.
Mobile Room, thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys.
Pleasure.
Hope you have a good week.
Do you think they deserve the day off?
Days.
Say again?
Ooh.
I had my first 2 ski days this year.
Good work.
It was cool. My knees hurt a little bit, but I was, it's always at the beginning of the year. I force too much.
Fish oil.
But it's good. It's good. Love it. Will be a good season.
Oh, good.
Does that mean you're at the ski chalet? Like your second
right now, I
spot?
came back. I already came back, but for the recording for the 19th, I might already be up there.
That'd make it extra special. Pour yourself a drink when you join us.
Ho, ho.
Best of Mumble Room.
That's great. We are about to get something like 76 trillion gallons of water dumped on us over the next few days.
Woo.
They like the strongest category they have for an atmospheric river is coming our way. And we're going to get a month's worth of rain in just a few days.
Yeah, one of those sky rivers.
So it's like guaranteed
Don't you
flooding.
dare blame my lobes.
Well, if your lobes, would actually get their act together, we could have ourselves one of the craziest snowstorms we've ever had of our lives.
That's so true.
But
this one news agency calling it a Godzilla atmospheric river. I'm not sure that's a technical rating.
It's crazy. It's going to be flooded. And the worst part is it's too early in the season for it to stay as snowpack. So we're basically going to lose a lot of it. They're already dumping reservoirs.
Tire socks for that situation?
The passes might get some snow, but we're not going to get much snow, unfortunately. If it was it's really hard.
It will be warm and wet.
Yeah, it's going to be 46 degrees and dumping constantly. Just dumping, maybe 43 degrees and just dumping. And then when the dumping stops, we're going to have 30-mile-per-hour winds, blowing everything around, knocking power out. And then it'll go back to dumping again. Yeah. So that's winter in the Pacific Northwest. That's our winter.
But this time, maybe with landslides.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So next Sunday, we may have power outages. It may be quite the thing. I don't really know. We get windstorms and we get a lot of water. December is our wettest month, followed by January. So it's just a miserable couple of months, but might be better than snow and ice. I don't know. I know it's not better than sunshine, but it might be better than snow and ice. That I do know.
Hey, it'll be almost 60 tomorrow.
Yeah, isn't that weird how that happens? Like it's December, and before this rain comes. It's just the way the high pressure and low pressure zones work and all that crap that I barely understand. But like nature loves to fill a vacuum. Boom, here comes in, and it gets warm. And
physics is fast.
Woo, doggy! All right, bye, Mumble Room. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. See you.
See you. Bye.
And of course, thank you everybody who was watching or listening live. I appreciate you too, hanging out in the chat rooms or watching on the streams. However you do it. Thank you very much. The launch on Tuesday. It's also live, and then we'll be back live on Sunday.
Oh, wait, they were supposed to do something for that, right?
Yeah, what they should do. Oh, geez, I got to get over there. Get tangled up on my own cords. What they got to do is call the launch.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick call to the launch. I haven't checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right. 774-462-5667. Call now. The heck?
There you have it. There you have it. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your week and all of that, and we'll see you back here next time.
Rocket.